Oh my God. It's your boy. I can breathe again. Thank God. I forgot how awful that shit is, man. I'm telling you, bronchitis is the worst, dog. For anybody who has asthma, it's kind of like having asthma, except the inhalers don't work. There's nothing you could really do to restore the breathing. All you could really do is just be in agony until the virus runs its course. Whatever it is that has your insides all swollen up and you can't breathe right, and you got phlegm, and you got a fever, and you can't really lay down. Like, nah, you can't lay down. You got to sort of find a way to sit to sleep sitting up, because if you lay down, it's even harder to breathe. Like, it's already hard to breathe, but if you lay down, it's just worse. So you got to kind of you got to sleep sort of sitting up. At least I do. And yeah, that shit was awful, man. I want to say uh it would have lasted. The worst of it would have been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then by Sunday it was dissipating. And then it dissipated, I would say. And then, Monday, uh feeling good, way better than I would have been feeling the last few days. And yeah, man, that shit is awful, dog. Like, I forgot how awful that shit is because I hadn't had a bout with that in over a decade. Over a decade, maybe 12, maybe 13 years. You know what I'm saying? It was something that I would regularly get when I was living in New York. I would regularly get it, like once or twice a year. And it's like, well, it's not a whole lot you could do about that because the air's just bad. It's car exhaust everywhere. It's germs everywhere because there's people everywhere. And if you get in from point A to point B, you ain't really got a choice but to be around a lot of people, you know? So I would get that shit all the time, man. Especially in my 20s. Like, I would say that was when the worst of that shit really was. Like 20s, uh, from 20 to 31, I would say. I would get that shit. And that shit is the worst. Like, dog, that shit is the worst, man. There's not a lot you could do when you got that shit. What it do? Nah, it don't help, Fire. You right about that. It really don't help if you a smoker. But I would just say that while smoking definitely antagonizes it, what it usually is a virus that causes it. It could be rhinovirus, or pertussis virus, or any kind of virus. The thing is that it's not something that everybody gets. You have to have a predisposition for it, because you could introduce two people to rhinovirus, which is basically the common cold. And the two people are going to react differently to that same virus. For somebody that has a predisposition towards having bronchitis or whatever, yeah, you just got to deal with it. Basically, you just got to deal with it. What it do, Herb? We out here, bro. We out here in this biatch. I looked on the thing. They saying that Terrence Crawford is the most searched athlete of the last 2020 of 2025. They saying, and he just did a thing for, I think, Forbes magazine or whatever, because he made a lot of fucking money. He made a lot of money his last 2-3 fights. Made a lot of fucking money. I can only tell y'all now what I said in the other shit, though, that I don't really got a desire to see Terrence Crawford keep fighting, to be real with y'all. After he did what he did, what really else is there to do? Fight Lara? Fight Carlos Adames? I was mildly intrigued by the Yanni Beck fight, but it's like Yanni Beck is out of here for the minute, Yanni Beck out of here for the next minute. So it is what it is. Anthony, what it do? Are you taking codeine? If not, take 3 teaspoons of Bragg's apple cider vinegar to fight bronchitis daily. What I took was, what's good actually? Get local honey. Get local honey from wherever it is you live at. If you could find it and keep some of that shit in your shit, that's pretty good because honey is, I believe that honey is antibacterial and antiviral. You know, especially if you're talking about local honey from real beekeepers and real motherfuckers that actually deal with that. Because you just going to Walmart and getting a thing of honey, that ain't that it's not the same. You know, it's not the same. A lot of fluid also. If you somebody that you know maybe you deal with bronchitis or whatever, one thing that really helps is you got to take in a lot of fluid because since you got mucus all building up and all of that, you want that shit to be as loose as possible so your coughs is nice and productive. So you hack up all that shit that's in there, you know. So you got to drink a lot of fluid. Local honey really helps. Um, what else? You know, keep your vitamins in stock because basically, if you got a strong immune system, the faster you could kick that shit in the ass, the faster you get that shit out your system. Feel me? Foz say he get honey from the paw. Tequila shots with lemon, Aztec medicine. Yeah, that's one way to get fucking drunk. If you try and get drunk out here, you know what I mean? Anthony, what it do? Rematch Canelo. I mean, that's like I know people talking about that, right? But do I want to see a Canelo rematch? I shaved the beard too. I shaved my goatee just because I took it down to 0. Just cause I don't want no shit, no lingering germs or anything that might carry no germs. So I took that motherfucker down to 0. It'll be back in a day. You know, that my hairy ass. It'll be back in a day. But I was like, let me just clean everything up. Go to the barber tomorrow. After I drop my son off the bus, go to the barber, get a cut. You know what I mean? Hit the gym on Wednesday. Based on how I'm feeling now, I'll definitely be good to go to the gym on Wednesday. Undefeated, what it do?
Yo, I know you say you shaved your mustache, right?
Yeah.
You know, what you gotta do is you gotta shave the eyebrows, bro.
I gotta
Go,
shave my
go.
eyebrows too.
Yeah, hit the ugas, bro. Hit the
I gotta hit
ugas.
the. I'll hit the
Hit
hit
the
the
ugas.
Ugas, bro. I gotta hit that shit.
But
Um,
to what that person said, yes, it's true. A tequila shot will, because it's pretty much antibacterial. It'll help you out. But you also have to eat some spicy food, bro, because that shit will
no, my name. Tú no sabes que I eat cayenne pepper. When I drink tea, I put cayenne pepper in it. Porque that shit kills. Like, believe it or not, that shit gets rid of a lot of shit. When I moved down here, I had something called scarlet fever. I'd never got it before. Never. I think I got it because I was exposed to a completely different environment, and I had got something called scarlet fever. It's like strep, but my palms turn completely red and scabbed over. And it's not just the palms of my hands, it's also the soles of your feet. They all turn completely red and scabbed over. And I lost my voice. And what
scarlet
got
fever.
but it's some shit, dog.
I got fear for Scarlett Johansson.
Shout out to Scarlett Johansson, bro. And
Hey,
what I had used for that, it's old school than a motherfucker, but it's like, on one end, people exaggerate about how effective holistic remedies are. Sometimes people exaggerate, but on other fronts, they do actually work. So what I took was local honey, cayenne pepper, minced garlic, chopped up real small, and I chewed that shit, like all together, and just a little bit of lemon juice to try to, just make it taste not so fucking awful. And that shit got the scarlet fever out of there quick as fuck. Like it only lasted a few days, where normally
really?
yeah. Diced garlic, real, fresh garlic, good garlic that still has the salicylic acid in it. That because you need the shit to be fresh. Garlic, little bit of lemon, local honey. So if you live in New York, that means go to the farmer's market, see if you can find the honey from around the way. In this instance, since I'm out here, I got honey from around this way because the shit is, I don't know what it is about the fucking bees. It has something to do with these bees dealing with this area And the shit that's around here, it makes it a lot more effective if you get in local honey. So local honey, cayenne pepper, a little bit of lemon, and diced garlic. And that shit, yeah, that shit'll kick a lot of shit's ass. Like a lot of, day to day, getting the sniffles, getting the cold, shit like that. That shit will kick a lot of shit's ass. It will. You know? That shit works, man. That's one of them old school joints. But yeah, man, that bronchitis is not a game, man. It is not, bro. That shit had you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Lucky motherfuckers that don't get that shit. Because if I was still living in New York, I I would probably be classified as somebody who has a chronic illness if I still lived in New York, because I would still be getting it at least once or twice a year. But because I don't live there no more, well, I ain't get that shit in over 12 years, maybe 13. So it wasn't chronic. It's classified as acute if you don't really get it, if you don't get that shit. And I wasn't getting that shit, man. Shout out the country. I mean, yeah, man, this Crawford shit. I'm getting bored of seeing shit about Crawford. Not for hate of Crawford, but it's like, Brody, the dude 38. What the fuck else he gonna do? Like, what else is there to do? Like, we arguing with Mauricio about sanctioning fees for belts we wasn't gonna keep anyway. What the fuck else is there to do?
Yo, I like what Earl said, because Earl was the one that pointed it out 2 years ago. Like, where's the money going for the
Yeah,
sanction fees?
That is true.
yeah.
Yeah.
He
That is
said
true.
that.
But Crawford wouldn't have had a reason to say it then, because the only belt that Crawford had was the BO. And the BO don't act shitty with their people, man. Like in general, like, yeah, the BO don't give a motherfucker a reason to be complaining about nothing. And when
Yeah.
Crawford did have the BC, he didn't have it for very long. Talking about at 140, he didn't have it for very long. He won it from Paul Stall. Then what? Maybe 2-3 fights later, he was out of there. He was moving up, so he wouldn't have had a reason to complain. He wouldn't have had a reason to complain.
It was
But
a good general question though. Still overall though, just to ask, throw that out there.
yeah, I
A
mean,
lot of people don't do that.
yeah, because Errol wasn't wrong. I remember when he asked that shit, and it's like, well, no, he wasn't wrong. Like it costs so much, but what the fuck are you paying for? Like what are you paying for? And it's
Right.
like they're not really providing a service. Like once you got it, well, they're not really providing a service to you, and in some ways, you're providing a service to them because you increase the profile of their organization. If Undefeated is the man and he sell all the fucking tickets in Texas and he got that belt, you kind of doing them a favor, because the fuck,
Yep.
that people coming here to see me. They not coming here to see your belt. They coming here to see me. And Canelo's the perfect example of that. When the WBC was acting up, what he did, take that. Now what? Go ahead, take that. Now what? Now Golovkin gonna sell 150,000 buys with Danny Jacobs. Bravo, motherfucker. Bravo. Somebody got to check motherfuckers like that, because I get that there's people on one side saying, yo, Crawford cheaping out, that how you acting brand new when you gotta pay that, right? I hear that. I do hear that. But at the same time, Brody, this is the WBC we talking about. There's a lot of people that they just kind of left them in limbo. They never got their title shot. They never got their opportunity. They not gonna get their opportunity because the WBC doesn't want them to get it. And we seen that shit over. I've seen that shit over and over and over with the women boxers, with the male boxers. And it's like, y'all acting like y'all really doing a service to these fighters by charging them, what, $300,000? Because it's a $300,000 cap. Once you make a certain amount, it caps off. But still, that's $300,000. And you supposed to get that for what? Exactly. For what exactly do you need that amount of money? And Mauricio said, it's for the boxers' fun. And we are going to the WBC. Man, shut the fuck up, Mauricio. Shut your ass up, man, motherfucker. This weekend we got Pacheco versus Sajo going live for that.
Pacheco.
That's the Scott Nicholson on the undercard fighting a Mexican girl, pretty one.
That's gonna be fun,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Just to go.
That's gonna be a good fight because that Mexican girl actually hit real fucking hard. Even though she little, she one of them skinny strong bitches, man. Big
Is
fists.
she really?
Yeah. Like the fight. If you ain't seen her, I'll just recommend two good fights for you to see. That they're good fights that you won't be bored. Watch Luna versus Juarez. She messed her whole fucking face up in that fight. She fucked her up. And for a good litmus test of how good she is, you remember the Raging Torta?
Yeah.
She fought her and she fucked her up real good. Did a real good job on her. Real nice. Real nice.
Really?
Yeah. She's a good fighter. Luna. Yuli Hang Luna. She's a good fighter. I forgot where in Mexico she's from, but she's Mexican fighter, one of the really good Mexican female fighters, but obviously they don't get the same coverage that the guys do, so most people won't know that Sky's fighting a good fighter this weekend. She's fighting a real good fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if she cut Sky's face up just because the bitch hit hard. Like, she do hit hard when she get in with a good one. And it's just, that fight is really a question of who's gonna have to break character, because Luna fights a lot like Sky, but she has power is the difference. That if you come in on her,
Sky's gonna be able to keep out of the way of that, or is she gonna get hit?
maybe because Sky is a little taller and a little longer, so that helps. That you are tall enough and long enough that you can jab her and do your same pivot shit, because that's what Sky does when she's scared of a bitch. Jab, then pivot out the way, then jab, then pivot out the way, hook off the pivot. That's what she normally do, But she's fighting a good girl. The girl is good. Yuliang Luna is a good fighter. It's just that Luna does fight like that, but when she does it, it's exciting because she's Mexican, one, and because she actually hits hard. She hits hard enough to knock bitches. She knocked the Raging Torta down. Torta tried to jump in. She caught a left hook. Bing, put it down. She hit hard. She hits hard.
Raging Torta reminds me of Isaac Cruz.
Oh my God.
For real. So it's some bullshit that Stevenson and Lopez is the same day as Zayas and Baru. Zayas and Baru is a more exciting fight. Like, I tell you that shit off top. It's a more exciting fight.
And don't forget Backshots and Kelly is that same day too.
Yeah, but that's in the afternoon. So we don't gotta worry about nothing. You feel me? That's in the UK, so we don't gotta worry about that. Like, we catch that in the afternoon.
Supposedly planning Charlo.
Ain't nobody worried about that.
Ain't nobody watching that bullshit.
Trying what? Like, imagine. Damn, I don't know if I can't miss that Charlo. I can't miss that.
You know what though, Jules? After what Undefeated said about fucking Isaac Cruz fighting like Usyk, I wouldn't put anything past this motherfucker.
Man, fucking Isakchenko, bro.
Did y'all think that was a robbery? Because I didn't think that was a robbery.
Nah. I thought a draw was fair.
I was cool with the draw, man.
Draw.
Shit, Lamont. If anything, Lamont, I will say that Lamont exceeded my expectations because I thought he was going to be a lot more trouble than that. Like, it was looking like what I thought it was going to look like the first few rounds, but Isaac looked like he ran out of gas because in the second half,
did he really break his hand though, or what?
Lamont said he did. He said he broke it in the fifth. I think he said he broke his shit. I mean, Javante hurt his hand on Isaac, so it's not far fetched. Javante hurt his hand on that motherfucker.
Country, that old McHead is hard to hit.
For real, that motherfucker got the Quetzalcoatl bones, bro. That motherfucker got that motherfucking Teotihuacan in them and shit, bro. But that's a good fight,
he's
though.
got that Chilango steelhead, man.
For real. He got that Dr. Doom, bro. He got that Dr. Doom face, bro. But that was a good fight, though. It was a good fight. Like, I can't complain about that fight. It was a good fight.
It was.
It was probably the best fight out of everybody. I mean, the only other one that was somewhat entertaining was Mosley and Ramos.
Yeah, but Ramos, I sold my Ramos. I ain't gonna front. I sold my Ramos stock, bro. I did.
I
I used to think a lot more of that kid, but I'm like, nah, man. You just you look like you hit harder than you actually do. You couldn't knock out Lubin. I was hoping he would knock out Mosley. He didn't knock him out. Yeah, he won. Yeah, he
The
won.
problem with him, Jules, this is just my observation, having seen him fighting lately. I honestly think that kid has plateaued with his pops, but he doesn't have the balls to tell his pops that he wants to go with someone else to train him. Because you can see that whatever his dad tells him, he's not really listening to it. He's just kind of
Yeah.
doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, he do whatever he need to do in the moment. That's Elijah Garcia is another one. Not a dad situation per se, but it's you only gonna get so far with Jose Benavidez in the corner. You know,
Yep.
you only gonna
That
learn
and he
so
don't
much.
stay in shape in between fights. I mean, look at how fat he got.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me. Somebody that live over there told me that that dude has fat camps. He don't have fight camps. He has fat camps. He's
Yep.
just trying to make weight.
boot
That's what
camp.
somebody told me. But yeah, man, that's a lot of fucking fight. Like, I ain't gonna front, dog. I know that Lopez versus Stevenson is the more high profile card, but aesthetically, yeah, Baru gonna make that a good fight. Just because he not gonna stop coming after the Puerto Rican. He not gonna stop coming after him the whole fight. And that might put Xander, that might make him uncomfortable. Whereas, come on, man, I really don't think Lopez gonna do shit, bro. He gonna get out there, he gonna feel awkward. He gonna try to play it off doing stupid shit, and he gonna lose a whole hum decision. That's what I
You
think
know,
gonna happen.
you know
So
what?
that fight's gonna look like Foster Fulton again, Jules.
Pretty much.
You know what? I'll give Tail a solid shot.
We're lucky.
Nah, I don't think so, homie. Like,
Yeah,
I think
bro, Shakur going up to 40, and Tail can move.
yeah,
He
but
can
T.O.
move.
not a dude that walk people down. He's not a dude that he
Wait,
don't
hold on.
do that.
Oh, because Shakur does it, right?
No, because Shakur gonna hang back and jab.
No,
And because
I'm
T.O. I'm saying T.O. is shorter. So because Shakur gonna hang back and do his Shakur shit, T.O. gonna have to come forward. And T.O. is booty on the front foot. He is booty, wet booty. No, he ain't even wet booty. He's dry booty on the front foot.
crusty booty ass.
He's not no pressure guy. Like I said, if you could, what Shakur did that was impressive, whether you like him or not, he was able to deal with the work rate of William Zepeda, bro.
Yep.
That dude does not stop throwing punches, bro. If he punch in his sleep, bro. His wife got to sleep in a different room because that dude don't stop throwing punches, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could deal with a guy who's throwing 5, 6, 7 punches, all these punch combinations in a round, if you could deal with that, yeah, T.O.'s 1 or 2 punches at a time, you're going to see those. You're going to see those. And that's if he even throw them, because there's no countering opportunities. Like, I'm not psyched about that fight, to be honest. I'm more excited about, okay, y'all put it together. What's going to be on the undercard? I care more about the undercard than that main event. Like, yeah, let's see what y'all put on there. I don't see why y'all shouldn't put Richardson Hitchens versus Gary Antoine Russell co-main event. Yeah, do it. Fuck it. Do it. You know?
I seen that Richardson Hitchens ducked what's that, the mechanic or whatever his name is?
Fucking Jermaine Ortiz.
Jermaine.
Bro, do you
That's
know
a
how
weird ass
bad that fucking fight would have been,
name.
dog?
Oh my god. What
That
was that
shit-
fight? What was that fight Jermaine had? Was somebody or it was
It was
straight?
with
It was
T.O.
Tail?
No, it was with
Yeah.
T.O. That shit
that
was that was another trash fight. Like,
straight
you can't
ass.
get these big fights, these big names, and that's what you want to do? You think people want to see that shit? No, all right, motherfucker. You know, Hitchens already boring by himself. Add Jermaine to that shit. Bro, we all gonna be knocked the fuck out till next month, bro. They ain't gonna knock each other out, they gonna knock us out.
God damn.
But that's a lot of fights in one day. The
Mhm.
saving grace is that the lead-in is beautiful. Fucking Bakram is gonna josh his Kelly, bro. He is gonna fuck him up. And then we gonna see what it do later on. You know, we gonna see what it do. I heard that fucking Zayas, I hope not, but I keep seeing people say Zayas versus Baru might be a pay-per-view. They better get the fuck out of here with that shit. They better get the fuck out. Like, what the fuck y'all smoking? I like Zayas, but not that fucking much. Shit. That would be an ass card for real. I'm not putting no money on him, but can't count T.O. out. His step ups, yeah, I mean, everybody say that, but what we really talking about? 2 fights? What are we really talking about? Josh Kelly with plantar fasciitis. Fucking Lomachenko with little ass shoulder problems because his shoulder's so little and shit. He has shoulder problems. Shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Tail, bro. I'm gonna go with
I
Tail.
dig it. I'm gonna rock out with the New Jersey, just cause
with the Puerto Rican.
With the Puerto Rican, bro. Puerto Rican Day Parade, Rosie Perez, bro. Come on. You know what I'm saying? I seen a fucking headline. I don't know if y'all seen this. This shit made me laugh. Like my chest was hurting. Bitch left her husband of 14 years for what she thought was her soulmate. Damn. And the motherfucking soulmate rejected the bitch.
Oh.
The bitch by herself. Oh shit. I was like, man, bitches ain't shit. Yo, bitches ain't shit. Hoes and tricks, man. Hoes and tricks.
What she do?
She had a husband of 14 years. Family and all that. Kids and all that.
What did you say
she left him? She left him to be with her soulmate. And her soulmate curved her. You know?
Yeah.
No, that dude hit it and quit it.
I'm saying, like, don't confuse good dick with a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? Confuse good head with a good, you know what I'm saying? Like, confuse that shit. That shit had me laughing earlier, bro. My chest was hurting laughing at that shit. Like, you dumb bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Got the coquito,
Don, what the fuck?
Hey, what's going on, you guys?
I got the coquito, yo.
You got the coquito? Dig it. Yeah, man. That
yes, sir.
Fucking bronchitis whooped my ass, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all never get that shit.
Last year, I think it was last year, the year before, I had laryngitis. It started off something like that, like bronchitis, I thought it was, but I ended up having laryngitis for 2 fucking months, bro.
Holy fuck, bro.
I couldn't talk. I had a whisper.
You serious? 2 months, bro?
Yes. 2 months. And I wasn't sick or anything. It was my voice was gone as a result of being sick. I got over the illness after 2 weeks, and then I had laryngitis for like 2 months.
Holy fuck, bro. Shit. I had that shit, but it only lasted a few days. And I took that shit I was talking about at the top of the show. Cayenne pepper, local honey, diced garlic, and a pinch of lemon juice. 6 spoonfuls of that shit throughout the day till that shit went away.
Yeah, but I don't know if the laryngitis was a bug or what. It was pretty bad.
Wow, man. Yeah, we got that shit. We got Pacheco Sajo this weekend, which should be a good fight. I don't know what's going to happen with Diego because I don't know because Diego not with Jose no more. So I don't know how you about to look. Like consistency is a thing that with Jose, you know what he goes out there and does. As long as we've been seeing him, he been with Jose. And granted that Jose is trash. He is trash. But I'm saying, you know what you're going to get. Diego is a long-range fighter. He wants space to throw his punches off the jab, straight punches down the middle. He's not that good on the inside. Like, most taller fighters are not really that good on the inside because they don't got enough room to put them hooks together. They need more room. So with Diego, you know what you're going to get while Jose is in the corner. This is a new situation. It's not Jose in the corner. So I don't really know what we're going to get. Whereas with Kevin, I know what he's going to do. He's going to do what Mabili do because that's how he fight. He fight like Mabili. He going to bob and weave and try to looping punches over the top, hooks on the inside, body shots. He's that kind of guy. He's basically a lesser known Christian Mabili that I would argue has more power than Mabili. Is he as durable as Mabili? That is not proven. We don't know that because Mabili's quality of competition is better than his. But he does look to hit harder than Mabili. Like, yeah, if he crack your ass once, you gonna feel that shit. Hard old face motherfucker. So you know he hit hard. Motherfucker look like the uncles of the ancestors, bro. Like shit like that. That's old face motherfucker, bro. Old face motherfucker.
Yeah, the mean motherfucker. Yeah, fucking Pacheco's gonna avoid him. Like it's gonna. Sometimes it's gonna be an ugly fight from what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Pacheco's last. Pacheco's last
like he,
1 or 2
like,
fights.
He like to do things. Gonna be an ugly fight.
It could. I mean, like the Steven Nelson fight was a good fight in terms of to watch. It was a good fight, but it was not a good performance per se or a great performance from Pacheco. Nah, you didn't look spectacular in that fight, but you were in there with a really good guy, so that that kind of offsets that. This might be like that. This guy's a lot more aggressive than a Steven Nelson. That's the thing, that this kind of guy he is. He's gonna come forward the whole fight. He doesn't have much of a choice because he's noticeably shorter. You can't do nothing till you get in front of him. So most of the fight, that's what you're gonna be trying to do, is get in front of him. And it's either Diego gonna catch your ass with something hot coming in, or he gonna miss you and you gonna do some shit. You gonna slip past, get on the inside, do some shit. It should be a good one. Yep. We think about what do we think about? Well, Don wasn't here when I asked this shit. Don, would you prefer that Crawford just pack it up and retire? Is there anything left for this guy to do?
I got some opinions about it. I think that he looked great in that fight. So I think he can just keep going. I wouldn't mind seeing him, but he's got to fight. He's got to fight somebody of note too. He's got to fight somebody.
Well, that's what the dilemma is. He's not staying at 68 to fight 68.
I don't think 68. I don't think 68's a good stay. I don't mind the Canelo rematch. I know you guys had it very wide. I did not. I had it 7-5, and I watched it 3 times, and I still had it 7-5. I think Crawford ran away with it in the last 2 rounds. I thought it was very evened up until the 11th round, and I wouldn't mind seeing the rematch. I know Canelo does, historically he does better in a rematch situation. Although he's only been in one rematch.
Yeah, one rematch.
So I think he can make the adjustment on that end. I think he can make pretty good adjustments. I think he was I just think he was overconfident and he didn't really prepare for that. That was kind of just a totally different thing. But I think also at the same time and I wanted to mention this earlier with the WBC thing. Hey, get out of here! Hey, go!
Dog doesn't want to see the rematch.
Yeah.
That's why he's mad.
Dog's pissed off. I think that he's getting money from Turkey for this whole thing. I think there's money changing hands here. I think he denounced the WBC, and that's great. It's a double-edged sword, right? We've got the Zuffa boxing thing going on. We've got the sanctioning bodies, and it's all bad. I mean, boxing's already corrupt. Boxing's already has a myriad of problems. It's got so many problems. We've got promotional companies acting like managers. We've got no fucking network. We got no terrestrial boxing at all now, zero now, except for Pro Box, which is on YouTube.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Doesn't count. And we've got all this corruption in the sport when we see decisions like even like on the PBC side, like with Manny and Barrios.
Barrios, yeah.
So we've got a lot of these kind of lopsided decisions, and they look like blatant robberies. At the same time, you've got a congressional hearing. I mean, the Zuffa's taken this to Congress. They're trying to change the law itself, and then I do agree that boxing needs a restart, a reset button. It definitely does. And one of the aspects of a reset is getting rid of the sanctioning bodies. I wouldn't but then you're not going to replace it with one belt where one guy has all the money and
Well, it's not even replacing them so much as offering up an alternative to their categorical bullshit.
Alternative. It's another corrupt alternative.
But is it corrupt? Like,
yeah,
I don't
corrupt if you've
no. It empowers it. All it really is it empowers the UBO, of which right now there would only be one anyway, which is TKO. And the only reason they can even afford to exist is, well, look at who's backing them. Of course, you guys can afford to form your own little league because you have Turkey backing you and WWE backing you and Paramount backing you. So you can afford to build a little bubble. You can. But my thing is that I don't consider that corruption, that the brand operate on that wavelength. Like, I don't view the UFC as being corrupt. I don't even know that I would call that greed in their case. The
UFC has a lot of problems, and
eventually it's going to turn to the same thing, bro. Eventually,
exactly. I think so. And you can't. One corrupt hand is changing another corrupt hand, and that's all that's happening, really. In my opinion,
I don't view that as corruption. What I view as corruption is Ryan Garcia coming off a loss, then getting a title shot
That's what I'm saying. We have a broken system already. Can you imagine what the other corrupt hand? The other corrupt hand may not do stuff like that, but they'll do other corrupt things.
I don't know what Dana or Turkey did to that Ariel Hawaii guy, but damn, he was digging in Dana's ass today, boy. Did you see that clip about?
Oh, really?
He was saying about MMA, about how Dana is criticizing like Mauricio and his rankings, and then he showed a clip of Dana doing the exact same thing with the UFC.
That's what I'm saying. One corrupt hand washes the other corrupt hand, and I don't feel bad for any of these people involved. I really don't. The only ones I feel bad for are the fighters.
Yep.
And they don't have a fucking choice because they want to do the sport. They're little kids. They grow up. They want to do the sport. They go through the amateur ranks. They turn professional, and then they have to deal with this shit. They should hire a lawyer in tandem with the fucking trainer. That's what they should do. They should really...
really, that's what the manager is, because 9 times out of 10, if you notice, a lot of the managers have a background in law, or they actually are practicing lawyers a lot of the time.
And then you have to trust your fucking manager not to rip you off and not to make backdoor deals with the sanctioning bodies or the promotion
or with the promoter. But see, and I'm not trying to oversell the TKO shit, but see, that is where their approach is so different, that you don't necessarily have to worry about a corrupt manager doing backdoor deals.
Then you better have a fucking lawyer, because you not a manager, just a lawyer looking over contracts, looking over your advising you on your best interest.
Well, average boxer that endeavors into boxing. That is not.
I know.
Joe Blow, that's an Olympian or some shit like that. Right? They ain't got lawyer money, They ain't got it.
I know that's money, and once a person gets the money in their face, and there's a contract for $500,000, $900,000, more money than they've ever received in their whole life.
I just think that TKO, what really makes me argue their case is that overall, if you're letting entry-level employees, which is what I view the boxers as, I'm sorry, but yeah, most of them are entry-level employees. They're not all Canelos. They're not all Crawfords. No, most of you are not. So most of you are really entry-level employees. If you left it to them, what, do you want to do a hard job? You want to have a hard fight? Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, exactly. Of course not. You want the easy fights. You want to have a long career of making whatever money you can get. But at the same time, with the Crawford thing, yes, I do like that he trashed the WBC. But then again, who enticed him to trash the WBC and not to pay and not want to want to pay sanctioning fees?
It's not
really
the chicken. No. It's not the chicken and the egg. Mauricio fired the first shot, which is why he responded. Mauricio fired the first shot.
Yeah, but you got to understand also that you don't think that there was any kind of persuasion by Turkey
of course.
in the
That
ring.
con guy,
You
man.
know, I mean, that's the thing. You get two corrupt hands fighting each other, and then in the middle is a fighter, and then who has more? He's going to give me money. I have to pay this guy money. Well, fuck that guy. I'm not paying him money.
I mean, that seems like overthinking it. Crawford was never going to keep Crawford was never going to keep those belts.
I know he was never going to keep those belts. I know that.
Crawford,
but why even?
Crawford's a pawn here. He legit said, "Turkey, I hope you get it done." What are you talking about, Crawford? They already told him, like, look, bro, look, you're gonna be the first motherfucker to fight for the TKO belt. I don't know, but they already told him.
They already gave him an incentive.
Yeah,
one corrupt hand gave him an incentive.
So let me just. I'm gonna go with y'all. I'm gonna go with y'all version of it, and let's say that this is all they using Crawford as a figure piece to attack.
He's not the first one either.
You know,
we'll see.
To attack the status quo. Mauricio need to be afraid of something, though, don't he? I mean, I like that.
Yeah,
like, you need to be afraid of something.
I agree, but now I'm in the position where I'm like, well, who do I vote for? Democrat or Republican? They're both corrupt, so I'm going to opt out.
No. I don't get why we're categorizing TKO as being corrupt. They haven't even launched yet.
Their leaders are corrupt. Dana White's a known corrupt promoter.
No, he's an asshole. He's an asshole.
No,
but I don't know about corrupt.
But assholes are needed sometimes. They do need
assholes are needed sometimes.
No, one thing about
if you didn't have an asshole, what would you do in the bathroom?
Yeah,
if you didn't have an asshole.
Yeah, but you don't. What is your asshole always going to shit on a nice healthy log, or a corrupt asshole going to shit out fucking lobo?
Hey, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Water guy bringing up
fucking swamp ass. But I mean, okay, like I don't like the WBC. I don't like Mauricio. Dana, the more I think about it, I don't know if I want you in the sport either, bro. Like, yeah, we need you to crack the whip, yes, because these fighters are too entitled and they're divas. Okay, so what happens if they can't? If the law doesn't pass, are you still going into boxing? You're not, because you can't do what you want to do.
Oh, dude, that law is gonna. I get you. I get the what if.
Yeah.
You know, the what if is always in the background, but just based on who that guy's friends are.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna pass. It's gonna
pass. Big Donnie J, bro. But did you see that Minnesota bitch, the Somali girl?
Yeah, I seen
Ilha. Yeah. She was digging in that shit. So you gotta, you know the politics shit, bro. So it's kind of like, will it pass?
That bitch married her fucking brother. I ain't listening to nothing that nasty bitch saying like.
Hey, you know what? Fuck that evil bitch. She needs to be fucking stripped and deported now.
Hey, you know what? I will fuck that evil bitch, and I will strip.
I would but I would too, and I think I would because she's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie.
I would clap them pirate cheeks, bro. I would.
Her and Alejandra Ocasio, like
Yeah, but she can't talk though while I fuck her. She can't.
No, I don't want to. No policy, no policy, no politics. But
gay shit and immigrants. That's what you said, Jules.
That's all they care about. That's all they care about.
Amen. Free Palestine, bro. All right.
Free Pakistan. Come on.
How about this?
Good.
Now, here's a theory. They're going to suffocate all the sanctioning bodies out, starting with the WBC. They're using Crawford as a pawn to do it, so they can give the Zuffa belt some breathing air. That's the theory, though.
No. That could be a play, right? The shit is that think always use yourself as the example of what is really going on, because they don't control boxing. We do. We're the reason the networks left. Like, if we were watching, right? If we were watching and we were paying for all the bullshit pay-per-views that they put out, then the networks wouldn't have left. The networks left because we left. That's what happened. So think about what Dana White is doing. Okay, Dana gonna have a bubble of B and C tier fighters, right? You, Herb, what would make you tune in to Dana's TKO? Undefeated. What would make you watch it? What would it take to get you on board and watch that shit just as much as you watch your regular boxing. And when I ask myself this, the only thing I could think of is, look, long as motherfuckers is getting concussions and getting fucked up real bad, I'm with this shit. I want to see motherfuckers get beat the fuck up, because that's what it's for. All right? I'm not, I keep, the older I get, I'm not going to sugarcoat the shit anymore. I'm not here for footwork. I'm not here for feints. I'm not here to appreciate shit. I literally am here to see somebody get fucked up. And the more often that happens, the better. So if you're putting together Gaddy versus Ward style fights, and you guys remember that neither Arturo Gaddy or Mickey Ward were pound for pound and all this lofty bullshit. Those were two rugged animals, two very mean B-tier fighters that when you put them in the same ring, they had a fucking war. So if you can use that formula with the guys you got, none of which are blue chip prospects, none of which are going to be pound for pound and all this lofty bullshit, if you can consistently put together wars like what you see on Pro Box, because they're pretty good at that too. Their matchmaker's pretty good. If you can do that, I'm on board, because it's a cheaper alternative to what we've been getting. Remember, if you took TKO completely out of this equation, they're not even going to be a thing. If you did that, boxing would still have a lot of problems. Huge problems. Bigger problems, I think, than anything involving TKO. Because pricing is definitely a problem. It's a problem.
You're such a pro box shill.
Fuck you. Just in general, that I think anything involving TKO is being grossly blown out of proportion, because these media people, the Sean Zittels, you don't think it's a huge problem that all the networks are gone? You're worried about Dana White. You don't think it's a problem that HBO, Showtime, NBC, Fox, ESPN, out of here? I would be more concerned with that shit than Dana fucking White. All the network money is gone. You don't think that's a problem? You don't think it's a problem that the Zone now has an ultimate tier that costs you what, 200 more, I think it is, on top of what you already paying? You don't think it's a problem that they plan on doing 12 plus pay-per-views? That's 12 plus cards that are behind another paywall. I look at that as a problem. Like, yeah, that's a problem.
I agree. It is completely 100%. I mean, you're already paying a full year subscription and you got to pay $60 a fucking, 12 times for fights that are subpar? Fuck yeah. No.
Exactly.
I'm not paying to see Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen. Fuck that.
Fucking Johnny Fisher, Dave Allen too. $60 fucking dollars, bro. You know what I'm saying? Josh Warrington goes to Turkey to get the transplant. $60 fucking dollars, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here. There are things that are legitimate problems. Another legitimate problem. We say it all the time and we laugh at it, but no, it's a problem though. Rolly has a belt. Rolly should not have a belt because he's not a good fighter, but he has a belt. Ryan is literally coming off a loss to Rolly, who is not a good fighter. He's coming off a loss. He's getting another title shot.
Hey, put some respect on Big Rolo's name, man.
Conor Benn has not fought as a welterweight in 3 fucking years. He's number 1 at 147 with the WBC.
That's wild. I mean, how can that happen?
These are real problems. They're like, so all these dudes that already was there and fighting in these eliminators and fuck them, right? You're like, yeah, just fuck them. That's a real problem, you know?
They're not even sure he can make 147 to get anyway. How he can do that? They don't even know.
He fucking number 1 because he beat Chris Eubank Jr. He's number 1. That's a real problem. And I don't look at none of that shit, because the shit with TKO this is a very expensive experiment that may not even work. For everybody who's moaning about it and, oh my God, the fighters, this is wrong. Yeah, we don't even know if that shit gonna work, dog. That's why I don't look at that as a problem. Now, maybe it's a problem for some folks, if the shit actually works. But we don't know if it's gonna work. Imagine Virtuoso gets home. He's fucking tired. You know, he's got a bag of Burger King. He fucking turns on his TV and it's fucking Vito Milnicki versus Brandon Adams. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna fucking lose it, bro.
He might like it.
Shit is crazy.
Why aren't you rambling, Julius?
That I don't view TKO as an issue. I think it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue because they haven't even launched yet. We don't even know what it looks like yet. And to me, boxing has bigger problems, much bigger problems that deserve the media's attention, and they choose not to cover it. They choose not to talk about it. That boxing got way bigger problems than fucking Dana White. You nuts? 13 plus pay-per-views on one platform. I call that a problem. That's a fucking problem. You gonna drive people away with that shit.
No, and there's another problem, like Terrence Crawford not paying his sanctioning fees. How will Mauricio Suleiman afford his pool now? I mean, how will the boxers in the fucking pool for their medical bills afford shit now?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, you know what's Mauricio gonna do? What are we gonna do? You know, these are real fucking problems. Shout out to Virtuoso. 0.6% of this super chat is going to Mauricio Suleiman's Ladyboy hookup fund in Thailand. Be a man and pay up. You know what I'm saying? Like shit is crazy. There are legitimate problems with boxing's infrastructure, especially right now, that the media's attention really should be going to that. And because people want to be heroes, because I just look at it as, oh, this is a hero complex thing. You want to identify Dana as the villain so that you can be the heroic asshole that smote him. You know, like look at me. I'm so fucking virtuous and brave, and everybody should buy me a beer because I said blah blah blah. Like, man, Dana White is not a problem. Dana White is not the reason that Showtime left, motherfucker. Talk about that. Showtime left. And y'all don't spend 10 minutes. Why did Showtime leave? You don't think that's important to go over that? A network that was in the industry for 37 or 38 years, they left. You should be talking about that and how to stop that from happening and bring the networks back. No, let's just talk about Dana White because that's easier. And that makes me look like the fucking hero.
Well, Jules, if he talks about that, he loses access to Tank and Rolly and fucking Mario Barrios. You can't do that.
What are we gonna do without our Mario Barrios?
Yep.
Oh my God. What are we gonna do?
Fucking Squanto motherfucker, man.
You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker's corny, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, what the
Who live with the fade?
That's what you need. That you need that match to go to New York, bro.
Oh,
that's
shit.
That's Jules with swine flu.
Yo, wow.
Bro, that's every old Puerto Rican over 45 in Spanish Harlem.
Oh. Oh, shit. Shout out to motherfucking George. Mighty Mouse Johnson, who had 12 title defenses as UFC flyweight champion, only made under $500,000 per fight as champion. The excuse was low pay-per-view sales. I mean, shit, bro.
See, like I really don't give a fuck what these fighters get paid, but when I see a fucking robbery like that, it's like, yo, like Dana ain't shit, man. Dana ain't shit.
He ain't shit, but sometimes you gotta be like that.
Okay.
It's Jules when he looks at a pack of bacon in the morning.
I'm going to say this right now because
Oh my God.
I don't want you guys.
Bag in the ring.
No, go ahead.
When wifey puts the bacon in the shopping cart.
Hell, Leo.
Take that fucking shit out.
Yo, that's Mauricio looking at the sanctioning fee and shit.
That's Big Red, bro. We gotta get Big Red out here. Go ahead, Leo.
Oh, come on.
That's for fucking
That's
Drew,
Tur-
Jules. Come on.
that's Turkey Al Sheikh when he has to behead one of the sanctioning
Nah,
bodies.
man,
You know,
that's Ibn Abu Al Kim.
Allahu Akbar.
I go ahead, Leo. Go ahead, Leo.
Now I want to crash all the fucking joke.
These guys, right?
I'm just gonna say it because, look, I know institutions sometimes fail. Sometimes you have a guys like Mauricio Suleiman that he has a huge fucking ego. Like he actually did something to. I know you are running a sanctioning body with a lot of precision and a lot of history, but you are not fighting the fucking fights of Shield.
Mm.
But it's very on brand for people in America to throw away an institution because you find an instance of corruption. So you're gonna go for another institution that is based on corruption. That is Dana White. Because Dana White, that's the model. It's like saying dictatorships doesn't have corruption because it's just one guy. It's based on corruption. It goes underneath. But that's whatever.
right.
Look, I don't. If you're talking about the problem, look, I don't know if Dana White is going to be a problem in the sense of it's going to be in detriment of the sport. But if you're talking about Terence Crawford, Usyk, all those guys, look, as much as I dislike Tyson Fury, the only reason that fight with Usyk had meaning, and it was in the conversation, is because he was holding a WBC title, and everyone was losing their shit, and Tyson Fury was big. Yeah, but he was in the conversation because he was holding a WBC champion. So it does matter. How much is going to matter in the future? I don't really know, because everyone is chasing this fucking guy. Actually, this fucking guy. Everyone is chasing this fucking guy. Mayweather trying to replicate that shit, and they're losing a fuck ton of money. They did that shit with Gervonta. They did that shit with Wilder. They're trying to do the same shit, and they're losing money. And at some point, after 5-10 years, this TV network said, "Look, it didn't work. I know what you were trying to do, but it didn't work. Maybe it was a fighter, maybe it was but it didn't work." So Showtime left, Fox left, HBO left.
Right.
So if TKO is the form of what boxing has to go to in order to survive, so be it. Now, world boxing as we know it, I think it's going to still happen in the rest of the world, but I think at some point you're going to have to bend over to Diana White, and you're going to have to bend over to TKO because the stance is very clear. You're going to have to pay pay-per-view every time you're going to see a good fight with legit guys. Every time you want to see, every time you want to see Canelo, guys. Even fucking Benavides. Every time you want to see fucking Benavides,
Yeah, I
you're
think
gonna have to pay pay-per-view. So
I think it don't matter the promotional company moving forward. I think I've come to the realization that I'm streaming everything. Fuck 'em.
Yeah,
No,
yo,
listen,
Jules.
Before I pass it to Virtuoso, once again, it's still overemphasis of TKO because who says they're going to be the savior of boxing? I don't know. I'm saying that like I think everybody is giving them. You're giving them too much credit. You don't even know if that shit is going to work. If it doesn't work, then it was never a fucking problem. But the way that people talk about it, the way people are harping about it, they making that shit seem like it's Skeletor. Like, no, homie, Skeletor and Megatron is already here. Never mind TK. Yeah, it's already going down. That boxing has real problems already without no TKO. Say TKO don't launch. It's not even a thing. It don't happen. Boxing would still be in a lot of fucking trouble. So
You
Yeah.
I'm
know,
not worried about them.
I
All the
gotta give.
hold on. All the other like major networks have been Thanos snapped already.
For
So
real.
for real, like yo, Jules, you just show us a photo of Mayweather and Tyson, right?
Hmm.
Is that gonna be a pay-per-view or is that going to Netflix?
I mean, there has been no one has said that Netflix is involved with that. No one
Right.
has said, no one. And I don't know that they're
Okay.
going to be, because if they were, we would have heard about it by now.
Okay, listen. They better send their asses over there for the fumble in the jungle because I ain't paying for this shit. I'll watch it, but I'm not paying for it, bro.
Bro,
Yeah.
the only way that bullshit ass old man fight, the only way that shit works is if Netflix pick it up. Because
Because if they,
I'm not giving y'all
yes,
68. No. For these two
Yeah.
old motherfuckers, no.
nah. If
You know,
Netflix can afford Warner Brothers for 87 billion, they shouldn't have a problem, buying this fight.
Big, bro.
I gotta give Dana credit, bro, because when the Zone came in, what did they say? Pay per view is dead. When fucking Showtime came, I mean, when PBC came in, they said free boxing for all. Dana came in and said, yeah, we're gonna have some pay per view fights right off bat. Don't even get that free boxing shit. Nah, we're gonna
Yeah,
charge you
because
for
he
your
Why you
he
shit.
may
think I
be an
said?
asshole, but he'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, but why you think I said that? That's not corruption. He's an asshole that's gonna look out for himself. Yeah, he an asshole, but I ain't because he cracks the whip does
Oh
not
yeah.
make him corrupt. Like, no, that's not what that is. That's that motherfucker running a tight ship, whether you like him or not. If you gonna fuck with TKO, you gonna do shit the Dana White way. If you don't like that shit, okay, get out there in the wilderness with the rest of the motherfuckers that think they're gonna be superstars and go not
Right.
sell some pay-per-views. Cause that's what's going on. Y'all motherfuckers be on pay-per-view all fucking day and don't sell shit. I liked it this weekend's card. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But who the fuck you think bought that shit? Who?
Me.
Nobody.
No, but
Yo,
I
okay, but
regret.
let's let's get something clear. One of the reasons that they are complaining about Dana White is because Dana White actually don't allow you to do that shit. It's
Yes.
like, yeah, but okay, you've signed a contract with Dana White. You have some upside. You have some market value. Dana White is not gonna let you leave. If you wanna, because that's it. We're talking about the regular guys like Ryan Garcia and all these other guys. If you want to go and be on pay per view by yourself, you can negotiate something with your promoter. Maybe if it's Oscar de la Hoya, or maybe they're not going to allow you, but they want to be involved. In the case of Dana White, if he says no, it's no, and you're going to go stay there. And if you want to do something by yourself, do you understand what I mean? That
Yeah, bro, listen, let me give you the condensed version because I already said that shit. The reason that these boxing people don't like Dana White is because he's going to make it harder for these fighters to act like princesses. All that bullshit that the Richardson Hitchenses get away with, all that bullshit that fucking the Brian Gore-Tex that you didn't want to fight fucking Boots for the bread, right? All this bullshit based on tickets you don't sell. Pay-per-views you don't sell. With a Dana White around, right? Yeah, that don't happen. Okay? That don't, and that's why y'all don't like him, because you don't get to be delusional. See, the way shit is now, any fucking dickhead with 2 boxing gloves and a gum shield gets to act like he top billing. They all live in this fucking shared delusion where they're all superstars. It's like, no, none of y'all motherfuckers is all on pay-per-view. Do you realize how many of you are on pay-per-view and how many of you are actually headlining pay-per-views that don't fucking sell? What does that tell us? You shouldn't have been on there. Putting it behind a paywall only hindered how many people were able to watch it. Fundora versus Zoo should have never been a pay-per-view. Pacquiao versus Barrios, Brody, you need to be retired, Pacquiao. Nobody want to pay. Nobody want to pay. Nobody, right? And what they don't like about a Dana White is he don't allow for that stupid shit. That like no, fuck out of here, bro.
Jules, I gotta say this, man. You should have went to Congress, because the people that are trying to defend, they had just had a hearing about this shit. The people that are trying to like make a case for the UBO, they're going about this very poorly. About how many shows the data they know as far as how many shows were put on, or how many boxing stars have they produced recently, when they should be going to people like the consumer to express their frustration. Like let me go back to this thing with Bud and WC, right? Like, say for instance that it's true that Dana White and Turkey Al-Sheikh is pulling the strings, right? Well, even if that's the case, that they're doing this by proxy, by controlling Bud, who looked worse this past week? Dana White, Turkey Al-Sheikh, or the WBC?
WBC.
Simple. Look at all the fuck shit they just did.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they're saying, but the virtue of a UBO, if there is a virtue, the virtue of a UBO is a sense of continuity that provides a service to the broadcaster at a reasonable price. Because the way the boxing people think of things and the way that the people on the ground think of things, the fans, is if the money's just gonna it's just gonna fall off the money tree. You just got to shake the money tree and the money will come. No, the network needs to be getting something back for the money they're putting in, because that's the money that normally makes boxing happen. And time again, what we've seen in the last decade is the people in boxing want exorbitant amounts of money that they're not good for, that they don't bring back to the network in terms of either viewership, ticket sales, or box office fights or pay-per-views. That's what's going on. Gross overspending with no oversight. Where is a UBO a better alternative? Because there's a cap. There is a cap. And with the infrastructure being the way that it is, that the branding will go to the UBO instead of the individual fighter, that provides a safety net that can keep a UBO afloat. Even if a show doesn't do that great, we still got this corporate sponsorship money, this brand deal. So we're good. And that is more sustainable than what you're seeing, because what you're seeing is all the networks pulled back, and none of these bleeding hearts, none of these media people make any light of it. That you don't think it's a little bit crazy that there is not a major broadcaster in America right now showing boxing, and you think Dana's the fucking problem? Dana has his fucking network deal, oddly enough. PBC has been in the market for a new broadcast partner for 2 years now. Still hasn't found one. Top Rank, they've been in limbo from what was it, the end of July?
Yep.
End of July. Haven't found one. While all of that shit is going on, Dana already got his. He already know where the UFC going. So clearly he's doing something right. You don't have to like him. That don't mean he's doing something wrong. They don't.
Yo, let me say something real quick. These people that are complaining about this shit, they're so fucking stupid. They don't understand that this UBO, right? That this clause that they're gonna put in the Muhammad Ali Act, it works both ways. So I'm saying this, right? And this is gonna be a bit of a hot take. The IBF and the WBO are stationed in the US, right? Here's my idea. Why don't they apply for UBO status and garner any media rights? Because they're responsible for networking world boxing, all this talent pool, and they could be forced to become a neutral body, like a neutral party. Why not? What's stopping them?
It's sort of like, let's just say, you rub a fucking magic lamp and a Pegasus comes out, right? And that's your fucking Pegasus, man. You ride that shit around, and you're trying to have a Pegasus as a vehicle that you can operate in traffic, right? Because that's the equivalent of what it is. A UBO is the same way, in the sense that the IBF cannot afford to be a UBO. It cannot. None of these promoters can't afford to be UBOs. The only reason that TKO exists and can be a UBO is look who's backing them. The Saudis. A monster in the fucking WWE. A major network.
Government.
Exactly. A major network in Paramount. When you have that arrangement, oh yeah, you can form a league. Now tell me, how many other people have that arrangement?
Not many.
There's not going to be
Not
a
unless,
mass.
not unless they can score a TV rights deal that is hefty, right? The money can funnel down to the fighters, and that
But
incentivizes
and
them
there's
to
still
look
major problems. Like even TKO has
right.
TKO has structural problems. One structural problem you're going to have is, okay, who are you actually going to sign? You want 400, 450 fighters. Okay, can these fighters sell tickets?
That's
Right, you
important.
got you got 450, whatever the fuck it is. Are people actually going to watch these guys? Yeah, there's a lot of
That
money behind you. You got a lot of money, but are people actually going to tune into this programming? You can't answer that question. You don't know
exactly.
yet. This is what you're trying to do, you know?
Oh,
So there are structural problems already embedded into what TKO is trying to do. It's already there. Like, yes,
Mhm.
you don't have to compete with Matchroom and all the no, you don't got to do that, but you still got to get people to watch your shit.
And
Still
to
Of
gotta,
top it
course.
off, most people won't know who the hell most of those fighters would be anyway.
no, but
I
wait,
mean,
wait, Julius. You're forgetting something. This is not a new problem for Dana White. Dana White manages the UFC. Nobody knows those motherfuckers. Nobody even have a clue about those motherfuckers. But people that watch the UFC, they know this better than I. He chooses those guys based on their quote unquote performance. He have a special event when he chooses his contenders, the people that are gonna sign for the UFC. Before it was that fucking program, do you remember that reality TV show? Yeah.
Contender series.
No, it was called the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But the contender series is where people like audition for being the UFC. Now, why do you think is the criteria to be in the UFC? Is to be a defensive specialist, or a guy who goes for the KO every fucking single time?
Guy who goes for the
Most,
KO.
most of the guys that go there, I'm not gonna say they're bad, but I don't. They're not the most cerebral guys, and he's gonna apply the same philosophy to the TKO. Now, how is that gonna look? And me personally, it's gonna be just a fucking bunch of readers. Okay, maybe. Now, is that gonna be entertainment? Probably, yeah. But besides that, you got the
Yeah.
guys going for the
Mhm.
knockout every fucking single time, and you have the promotional behemoth of
Yeah.
Dana White.
Yeah.
You can
Can
do
I
it.
add to that?
Let me say this, Leo. I get what you're saying, but the condensed version is that worked in UFC because you had cornered the market. You cornered it already you cornered it with UFC. UFC is the mountaintop of boxing. I mean of MM gay. Real Talk watches it with no pants on.
Oh my
He can't watch an MMA card with pants on. Like, nah.
And a lot of baby oil.
God damn it.
Whereas
That's a
with
bad
boxing, the built-in problem is you have not cornered that market. No one has cornered it. It's too big and too unstable. So just because he's shown a knack for selling freckle-faced white guys who, they like to roll around the floor and their dick slides on the other guy's leg, that works in the octagon. This is boxing. You haven't cornered that market. If you got a bunch of fucking nobodies, one of the biggest problems you have, because you're operating in America, is the other problem, not somewhere else where the market may be a bit more insulated, which helps. No, in America, the guy's got to be this, he's got to be that, he's got all these hang-ups, because the American boxing fan is a fucking snob and a pain in the ass. So one of the main structural problems that TKO has, whether you like it or not, you are competing with Matchroom, with Golden Boy, with PBC, with you are, because the fans are still going to compare whatever the fuck you got going on to what they got going on. Like, well, who the fuck is these guys? Who the fuck is these
Exactly.
guys?
So basically, what you're saying is these people have nothing to be afraid of. If these guys are not going to become a monopsony, which is basically the sole buyer of talent in boxing, then what the fuck is all this complaining about? What is all this belly aching for?
Nothing. Is people. I told you that. Look, I don't want to do this, Virtuoso, but I kind of have to. You know how Democrats think they're going to save the whole fucking world?
Yeah, liberals.
That's liberal. Thank you. You're right. Liberals got this thing where they think they're the ones. Oh no, because we figured socialism out, man. I know it's failed everywhere. It's been tried, but we figured it out, and we're gonna do it.
No, they don't even like socialism. They're such frauds.
Okay. Listen. The point is that a lot of this bullshit and crying and peeing and shitting about Dana White is not about, oh, we gotta save the boxers. No, it's people trying to appear as heroes.
Yeah.
Oscar's talking all this shit about Dana White. Brody, do you know how ridiculous you are? Oh, Dana White is gonna rip off the fighters. Because Canelo didn't accuse you of the same thing. And Marquez didn't accuse you of the same thing. And Mosley didn't accuse you of the same thing. And Ryan, who's still under contract with you now. Like, are you serious?
What they're not realizing here is that the people that these fucking bleeding hearts, right, are crying for only account for like 0.0.5% of the fucking of the boxing world.
I did that math problem months ago that there are an estimated 27,000 active boxers. Could be more.
Right.
Around the world, an estimated 27,000. If Dana White were to get 400 or 450 boxers for his stable, because that's what he's in the market for, that's less than 0% of the active boxers around the world. And you think that him having less than 0% of the active boxers around the world, oh, this is boxing's bane. This is the scourge of our time, of our sport. Oh no!
Less than 1%.
Oscar reminds me of Frank from Scarface talking about it was the Diaz brothers. You know what I'm saying?
That's
how he be sounding and shit.
Let me tell you this.
You got a shit ton of people in boxing that are only really tackling this for 2-3 reasons primarily. 2 or 3 primarily. The main one is they want to appear the hero. That's the main one, because these people are narcissists. The second one is there are people who genuinely understand how this could affect things, and they want boxing to stay the wild, wild west, where a $2 ass fighter can ask for fucking 50 million. You know, they want that dumb shit. It's like, that's not sustainable. We've been doing that already. That's not sustainable. That's not a business. And everything that Dana White did say about boxing, it is true. Boxing is not a business, because a business relies on supply and demand. Y'all keep supplying shit. Ain't nobody demanding Pacquiao to fight Rolly? No, nobody is asking for that. Why are y'all doing that? Nobody want to see that. And and it's gonna cost you $75 to see that shit too.
Tyson versus Mayweather is let me meet you at the lobby of the MGM Grand fight. This doesn't start to be in pay-per-view or whatever, but they're doing it.
I wouldn't pay 75 cents for that shit.
They think
you got a guy. Well, how old is Tyson? What, 56?
No, he's 59.
He got to be 50. He's 59.
He's turning 60 next year.
God damn.
Look,
You think
Go ahead,
Leo.
No, but look, besides the shit that Julius is saying, dude, as far as I understand, as far as I can see in this sport, the problem is this. the people that are financial boxing so far, they forgot their craft. They don't have a game plan. They don't have a planning. They think, okay, we're going to pour 20, $30 million in this fight in 3-4 years, and we're going to have no, there is no plan. They always have dumbasses ideas because some manager or some guy was putting something to his ear that, no, this is going to be the next Tyson Fury, the next so but dude, those guys don't know boxing anymore. These executives pouring a fuck ton of money on Devin Haney. Devin Haney cannot sell shit. There is no reason to pay him. Like, no, we have to have Devin Haney on the contract. We have to have Devin Haney on the set because this guy is gonna make us a fuck ton of money. That's never gonna happen. That guy is a money pit. Maybe
he's an abyss.
No, maybe Ryan Garcia versus Rory Romero. Those guys are more social media than social media celebrities and boxers. Maybe
make a long story short. Why does boxing work in Japan? Why is it working? Why is it working in the UK? Why is it working to a lesser extent in Australia? Why? It's the element that's missing in America. It's not hard to understand, but it's necessary for boxing to work. You gotta have guys who want to fight. Who the fuck is doing all that?
Yeah.
That might be me. I'm sorry about that. Move my computer.
You gotta have guys who want to fight. It don't work if they don't want to fight. It doesn't work. If they don't want to fight, it doesn't work. Why should it? You know what? Why is it so cool that Moses is out here? He fucking people up. Fabio out here. He fucking people up. It only works because it's a fight and people want to see a fight. The Americans, the reason it's not working, y'all little gay dudes don't want to fight. Y'all little homos don't want to fight. Y'all want to argue and.
No, but I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is. In the rest of the world, boxing can be a legacy sport and a successful sport. People can go and try to unify. They can gamble their records. They're gonna try to go to the undisputed and gonna make good amount of money. If you ask the same shit to an American, dude, people have to lose their jobs. Economies have to fall. Inflation goes to go way higher. Senegal has to go to war with everything has to happen before you go to fight. Economies have to crumble.
Economies have to go.
Okay.
When they asked Rolly, this is how it's just ridiculous. Like, and I don't want to harp on the same thing, but it's the clearest example of what I mean. Rolly has a belt at 147. He is free right now, sort of. Devin has a belt at 147. Devin, right after he won his fight, they've been saying they want to fight you. That's what they've been doing. That's what we've been seeing for the last 2-3 weeks. They want Rolly. Rolly just said, I don't want to fight you ever. It's not going to happen. I don't want to fight you ever. And that's the story. Now, I don't care if they fight because I don't give a fuck about either of them. I don't give a fuck. They could never fight again. Or they could fight inside an elevator that gets shot into the sun. I would not care. But it's that attitude that has hurt boxing in America that, like you said, Leo, economies have to crumble, companies have to go under, regimes have to change. There has to be a coup d'etat. Something's got to go wrong. Like this is too much. This is just entertainment. You take yourselves way too seriously. And for boxing to work, for it to work, generally, just like fucking a bitch, for the sex to be good, yeah, she has to want it and you do too. For the sex to be good. Yeah, like it can't be one way. For the sex to be as good as it can be, she has to want it and you do too. That's boxing. It has to be that way. You have to want to fight. They have to want to fight. And if you both want to fight, odds are it's going to be a good fight. You want it? They want it. There it is.
Yo, for very few people Richardson Hitchens have, as far as fans are concerned, how very little they are. How can any of them take any interest in his career if he's not going to fight? What's his face? Who cares?
Yep, and that's why I'm saying that TKO in the future, I'm talking about 10 years from now, TKO and Sufa, they're going to prosper. Because I don't think people are asking them to make boxing a business in America, and that cannot happen anymore because the market is overinflated. You cannot ask these guys to go to do their job for a normal salary, for a normal paycheck. That's not going to happen.
Now, I would say Boots moving up in weight and vacating the BA is not where it went wrong. Where it went wrong is the belt should have went to Giasov. That's where things went wrong. It should have went to Giasov right after Boots leaves the division. Giasov should have either been elevated to full champion or he should have had to fight the guy ranked behind him for the newly vacated title. That's not what the WBA did. The WBA literally manufactured a belt out of thin air, out of nowhere, a regular title for Ryan and Rowley to fight for. And based on that made up belt, that's how he got elevated to full champion.
And listen, I don't know if maybe people don't know.
Oh wait, shut the fuck up. Mick, you a fucking moron. So you didn't fucking want Joshua versus Dubois? You didn't want that. You didn't want Usyk versus Fury. You didn't want that. Say one more fucking stupid thing, I'm gonna kick your stupid ass off the fucking chat. You should be in bed anyway. What fucking time is it in the UK, you dickhead?
No, but
I hate these motherfucking British motherfuckers that do you know what time it is in Britain right now? Motherfucker, go to sleep. Sick motherfucker.
I just want to know if he knows that his caps lock is on. Like, bro, you're allowed to.
Bro,
That's I could tell a motherfucker a loser. You should either be laid up with a bitch right now or watching porn. You shouldn't be watching me and it's 4 fucking in the morning, bro. Are you a fucking loser or something? Go to fucking sleep. At least where Mirage is, because the sun doesn't set in Australia. I don't know if you guys know that. There's like no nighttime in Australia. It's
I thought that was Alaska.
It's like that in Australia too. Like that's why Mirage is like that. Like he's monotone, like nothing ever changed. In Australia, nothing really does. But that's his excuse. Like, well, at least the sun is out where he's at. What the fuck are you doing watching me at fucking 4? It's like 3-4 in the morning, bro.
I mean,
go to
fair,
sleep,
the sun's
Nick.
Never out in the UK. So.
But to the point you were to the point you were making, Leo. Go ahead.
No, but I don't know if you remember, Julius, but there were a lot of things happening and not happening. I guess like 20 years ago, when the HBO and the WBC and WWF were really in bed with each other. There are some fights. I'm not gonna say that were being blocked, but they were in cahoots. Do you remember that shit with, for example, the Maravilla Martinez when he got sweet because HBO didn't want to pay for that fucking fight against him? It's mandatory.
Yeah, I remember.
Because Leo didn't want to see Sebastian's beak.
And when Cotto and Mossy, all those guys were fighting each other, there was a couple of champions and number one contenders that there were Eastern Europeans. Nobody was talking of them, and they were being blocked from the media because nobody really wanted to talk about them. They want to talk about the guys they knew. I understand why the sanctioning bodies, HBO, were trying to do that shit, but right now doing that shit with Ryan Garcia and Floyd Romero, that shit is pathetic because.
But Leo, I'll say this because I remember that time when they put Martinez on. You got to remember when Martinez was brought on, he was brought on as a B-side to a guy that they considered a really good prospect on a Boxing After Dark show. Like nobody really knew about Martinez unless you were following like the fucking verses and I forgot what the name of that fucking remember that show that Top Rank used to promote like some of their guys like Ty Fields and all those fucking bums. They had Martinez fight on there a couple of times and he smoked the two dudes he fought on there. So when he got the fight on HBO Boxing After Dark against the guy, I can't even remember who the dude was, but I remember they made a big fucking deal about him. Like, oh, he's this and he's a puncher and, you know, yada, yada, yada. Martinez went on there and he fucking styled on the dude. He just embarrassed him and kicked his ass. And then HBO jumped on the bandwagon and were like, oh, we want to see this guy fight again. And that's what happened was he created a fan base because of the dudes he kept beating as he went along. And then eventually once he won a title, then that's when like everybody was like, oh shit, well, this dude's the real fucking deal at that point. But when he first started, nobody took him seriously.
Well, the main thing is that the perspective that the American promoters, I would say, that they seem to have is, oh, well, they're promoting the guy beforehand, you know, and they're invested in the guy beforehand. So it's almost like everything is preordained. You know, Rolly Romero, he's fighting for the WBA title. Well, we can't put him in there with Alberto Puello. He'll lose. So let's set Alberto up. He fails a VADA test. Well, all right, well, he's going to fight this old fucking man. The old fucking man's kicking his ass. All right, well, we got to stop this fight. And this is the bullshit. Instead of, you know what, let Ishmael Barroso win that fucking fight. This old fucking man. And then next week, yeah, we're promoting this old fucking man. Until somebody busts his shit, we're promoting this old man. Because you've taken the excitement away from the sport by doing things this way. Ryan is getting a title shot off. Well, of course he is. Of course he is. But who the fuck is excited about it?
Okay, but Julius, do you remember what happened in the Klitschko era?
Yeah.
Klitschko was ruling the heavyweight division for like a million years.
Yeah.
At that point, what people were talking to, the heavyweight division is dead.
No,
not because. No, I'm talking about.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
No, fuck you.
The heavyweight division can't be dead if you're still generating millions and millions of dollars, which they were. It may have been dead to Americans, but it was not dead to the Germans because that was actually a pivotal period for them and German boxing at that time. Not to say that the Klitschko's weren't German, you understand, but they were based out of Dusseldorf. Yeah. Vladimir was based out of Dusseldorf. And his fights drew, is what I'm saying. So as long as money is being spent for boxing, then no, it's not dead because people are spending money to see it, right? So no, it wasn't dead. Now, where we are now, yeah, now it's dying because people are not spending money on this bullshit. Brody, no, I'm saying no. Who the fuck really want to see? How old is Manny? 49. What is he? To see him fight Rolly? You think motherfuckers is sitting at home jerking off, waiting to see that shit?
Okay, Julius, let's be clear. I understand if you're doing that shit in Berlin or in Dusseldorf, and you're gonna have a huge crowd, and the Germans are the developed country. I understand that, but you are not gonna compare that to a heavyweight champion fighting in Las Vegas with Las Vegas money. No, it's not this fucking same.
No, to say that something is dead, no.
I understand it's not that it's
but I'm not comparing them. It's that America had no offering anyway at that time. The American heavyweight talent pool had already started thinning out. So what did we have, bro? Calvin Brock, Lamont Brewster. What did we have?
Seth Mitchell. Chris Areola. Eddie Chambers.
That don't matter to the people
that was so hard to watch when Areola lost to Klitschko and he was crying. That shit was fucked. That was fucked
Yeah,
up.
but,
It was,
what
you know,
I'm
I
saying
felt
is-
bad for. I just felt bad that the fans had to sit there and watch him do that.
And I'm just saying,
Madrazo,
that one of the things that is so crazy about that period is people attribute the Klitschko brothers with, oh, they killed heavyweight boxing. No, America literally stopped producing world-class heavyweights. That's literally what happened. Literally.
Yeah,
Look at what we had.
Okay, but
all the
I-
world
I
class
use-
heavyweights were going into other sports instead of boxing. That's what it was.
Yeah.
but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it didn't deserve the. I'm not saying that Americans were being broke. No, the people in America, they hope to make big money off boxing. They look at the middleweight division. They look at the welterweight, the heavyweight division, and they hope for those guys, the American guys, to be in the conversation, to prosper, to make fights in America, and make a fuck ton of money. They don't want those champions to go outside because look, what I'm gonna make this story short. The WBC and the WBA don't want a fucking Eastern European holding the undisputed welterweight title. So they're gonna put those fucking belts, fucking Rolly Romero, David Haney, fighters, whatever they need to do for guys like Gayasov or another guy from Lithuania, Estonia, whatever the fuck. The belts don't go there. Now, I think that's cheating. I think it's bad for the sport, but that's the reason. Because they want those fights in Las Vegas. They want those fights in the East Coast. They want those fights to be held in America to make American kind of money. That's it. Now,
And you can,
get
and
it.
you can, and you can, like you could say that, but they are removing the element. What the ends always have to justify the means. They always have to justify the means. So whatever decisions you've made, and are still making that led us to this point, they must be the wrong ones because look at where we are. They must be the wrong ones. Look at where we are.
Yeah,
Now,
Leo.
I'm in the middle of a point. Alternatively, if you would have ordered Giyasov versus Romero, and you if you really order it and hold his feet to the fire, you're either gonna do this or you're gonna give up that belt. That's your options, right? We either get a fight where we get to watch Rolly get the fuck beat out of him. That would be good. Instead of people running around pretending that he's a good fighter.
Yeah, but bro, listen, Jules, at this point, you know, I'm just tired of them pushing these guys on me, and I'm kind of just losing interest in seeing them get knocked out now. I just don't want to watch them anymore at all. I'm just.
But this is a that's still.
I'm just saying, bro.
No,
Like
that's still a byproduct of the same thing.
I'm just
because you're not letting the process happen. What is supposed to happen? You have a belt. He is your mandatory.
Yeah,
if he can, right? And he can do it in a way that, I ain't never really
Pro Box TV fights are damn more exciting now, dude. I'm just like,
because regular boxing, boxing is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. If you're getting to a point where you're protecting Ryan, where you're protecting Rolly, where you're protecting Mario, you're fucking up.
Yeah, you're fucking
Nobody wants to see them.
I am not excited about Tio and Haney. I'm not excited about Mario and I don't care. If Mario knocks him, I don't care. So what?
Mario Barrios has had that belt for, let's say, what, 3 fights? About 3 fights. Mm-hmm. No one on earth cares.
Nobody cares.
No one.
No. And I'll tell you right now, if Mario Barrios happens to knock out Garcia, I wouldn't give a shit.
I'll tell you that Mario Barrios is a fighter.
I'll watch it. I'll watch an Instagram clip.
Mario Barrios is a fighter who, if you don't got to get the greatest guy, you don't got to get high profile guy, you don't got to get Conor Ben, Mean Machine will body bag this guy. Mean Machine, yes, he would be the fuck out of Barrios. So why is this natural process is actually being blocked? It's arrested development. You got a welterweight division. Nobody's excited about it. Nobody's really looking forward to anything that's happening there. Why? The guy, bro, people know that these guys aren't good. They know that they're not good. So why the fuck would they be excited? Oh, well, shitty guy number 2 versus shitty guy number 3.
The comment I made this weekend when I was watching.
Yeah.
No, but
The powers that be of this sport, like, intentionally fail at trying to legitimize this thing.
Yeah,
Intentionally, they fuck
this
up.
weekend I made the comment because I for the first time I got a box, and I was watching this thing, and I was like, I was watching it, and my wife was sitting next to me. She was on her computer working, and I was like, I wonder how these guys feel, like the announcers, Joe Goosen, these guys, the ref. I wonder how they feel knowing that they're calling a fight with 2 C-level fighters that no one gives a shit about.
It's
You know,
exhausting.
they were actually more honest.
Because they have to pretend to be.
I wonder how. Yeah, exactly.
They have
Are
to
you
be.
paying them
They have to
extra to be
pretend
excited?
to be excited. They have to pretend to be amused.
This is
Where
right.
before the excitement was organic, it was coming from
Organic,
within. You
or
you
like-
were excited about what you were watching.
You
You
remember
can't
George
be
Foreman's
excited.
face? You
You
remember
can't
George
be
Foreman's face
excited
when-
about Ryan and Mario. Like, really, we get excited about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. You remember George Foreman's face when he was announcing fights for HBO and all those guys. They were fucking genuinely excited. They really wanted to be there.
Manny Stewart during fucking Gaddy and Ward, bro. He sounded like me. Go to the body. The body.
They were
Body.
genuinely excited.
Bro,
and,
he
then,
was
and,
on
then,
an
and then
orgasm.
you see this shit, and you're just
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Jim
Lisa?
It's
Lampley,
slop.
just imagine if you bought a ticket. You
You
know?
know, my wife says, why are you watching this? And I go, well, they are C-level, but at least the little guy, he throws wild punches. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be entertaining.
You can stop this fight at any time, Frank.
That's it.
It was
My
entertaining.
God, so it's because you have no soul. That's the point you're at. And let me just say this real quick about the heavyweights. Listen.
Oh, the
Listen, Ariola
heavyweights?
may have cried hold on, let me say this. Ariola may have cried in front of Klitschko, but guess what? At least he didn't cry in front of Roy Jones Jr. and say, I'm only 23. Okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
it's none of this is hard to understand. There's a natural process that is supposed to go through. These upsets and these ass beatings have to happen. Like what Joe Smith Jr. did to Hopkins is one of the more recent examples. Joe Smith Jr. was supposed to just be a guy. He's supposed to be just a guy.
The common man.
Common man. Some guy that Hopkins just picked out of a lineup like, fuck it, I'll fight him for my swan song. So what Hopkins didn't expect and what the audience didn't expect is that the great Bernard Hopkins' career will end with his ass and his ass to the sky. No, they didn't expect that to happen, but that is what needs to happen. The established order.
You know, at the time, that was the most shocking thing I think in my time watching boxing, other than Fan Man, was one of the most shocking things I'd ever seen. Was a guy like
and when you're protecting Rolly, Mario, Ryan, it's like, bro, what are you protecting? People don't even want to see them. They don't want to see Rolly. What are we doing? We're protecting Rolly.
Listen, it's a failing. It's a failing institution, and they're trying to protect whatever commodity they have, and that's it. That's all they're doing. It's clear to see.
Yeah, but it's you're not even protecting the commodities anymore. You're protecting the placeholders. Rolly is a placeholder. Mario is a placeholder.
Yeah, but
like
the thing is, they have a following, and whatever fraction of a following.
No, they don't, because people don't pay to see them.
I know that, but they'll pay more to see. They'll pay to see that over,
No,
Stanionis
they won't. The ends have to justify the means. So if the entire system is failing, right? It's based on the decisions. It's based on the decisions they make. See, back rub, for example.
Yeah, I think people are going to pay for back rub. We would.
They
pay
will.
For it.
No, they will if you keep him active. Yeah. So let's say he beats Tim Tszyu last year.
Okay. Hold on.
No. You gotta let me answer the question.
All right. Go ahead.
If he beats Tim Tszyu last year and he has 2, 3, 4, 5 fights after that, yeah, people are going to watch him. If he keeps doing that, But what did that happen?
No, of course not. Of course
He
not.
didn't get to fight nobody.
I mean,
Since
Don, the
then.
perfect example is Gennady Golovkin. Nobody knew who the fuck he was, but then as soon as he started going out there and beating the shit out of people and fighting on a regular basis, what happened? He gained a fan base, and he ended up getting a fight against the cash cow in the division.
But how many pay-per-views did that guy have?
No.
Golovkin, none.
Without Canelo. And then how many pay-per-views are
No, he had two. He had
one?
two. He had two or
Are
three.
there-
This
You know
is
what I'm
just
saying?
academic. Wait. This is just academic because
Because this Ryan bullshit's pay-per-view, right?
Can I finish what I want to say? Okay, this is just academic because Gennady Golovkin is now retired, but in very part of Golovkin's success early in his career is because of Tom Laughlin. Tom wasn't a really big promoter, but he kept him active.
Yep.
You keep him active, you keep him winning, you keep throwing bodies at him. That's not the situation that Wagner has been fucked up by his promotional company. I know that it's not really this bitch fault, but you know, if you cannot do nothing for this guy and this guy has talent, you have to let him go. It's like, come on, this motherfucker got like 3-4 step aside deal. Like what? Dude, you're fighting in the untelevised section of the fight. Dude, this cannot be good for your career. That's the difference between a guy like Gennady Golovkin and Pacquiao or Cesaro.
The other thing
Yeah,
is
they were
that
just talking about that in Congress.
I'm not trying to compare the two guys. I know we're drawing comparisons of careers, but I'm not trying to compare the two guys.
well, I'm just trying to compare the importance of momentum that
No, I
Gennady
understand.
Golovkin.
I understand the importance of momentum, but what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to make an excuse for these guys saying that they're protecting this big, the commodity that's bringing them wells of money. I'm just saying whatever they have, whatever trickle from the waterfall that once was. Now there's a little trickle
And that is nothing.
of water. I know,
And
and
that is
that's what
nothing.
they're trying to protect. They're trying to protect that little trickle of water coming down because that's all they have, and they won't.
The
push
reason,
anybody else.
okay, and the reason that there's only a trickle of water coming down, the reason that it's gotten
of
this
course, they
bad,
mismanaged the whole thing. Of course, we all know.
the reason it's this bad is because of the protecting. But if you let someone go in there and beat Rolly half to death, like they're supposed to, it may not be a trickle. It may be more like, oh shit, this Giasov guy beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, they're
Or
not gonna
what if you don't wave off the Barroso fight? What if you let old man Barroso put foot to ass?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they're trying to protect whatever they've been trying to protect their little trickle of water, and they should have been allowing Barroso to beat the fuck. Because who the fuck doesn't want to see a 40-year-old mummy that beat the shit out of this kid? I mean,
that dude was in his fucking 60s.
That would have been the best.
40,
I thought he was 82.
I'm sorry, 400-year-old mummy.
Okay,
4,000-year-old mummy. 4,000-year-old mummy. How's that?
You got a guy out there looks like a sun-dried fucking raisin with two cinder blocks for hands. It sells itself.
I thought that was one of the shittiest fights I had ever seen in my fucking life. And if you're gonna protect these, if you're out to protect Rolly Romero, you've got a lot.
What the fuck is this idiot talking about?
What?
Who
says they're protecting Baccarat?
No. That's maybe me because I cannot explain myself very well. Maybe you misunderstood.
No one is protecting Baccarat, dude.
No, but I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt because I cannot speak really well this fucking language. So, but coming back to your analogy about the very lame streak of water, you're forgetting something. A couple of how much has passed? Maybe a year, maybe more.
Yeah.
It wasn't a trickle. It was like hard rain. It was a deluvium of. This is what those guys are expecting. Expecting a manufactured guy against another manufactured guy to make a fuck ton of money. When did that happen? It happened kind of recently. That was just Bonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. 2 years.
Yeah, Gervonta Davis, a really protected fighter against Ryan Garcia, a nobody in the boxing world, but a really huge figure in the social media space. That's what they're expecting. They want to catch lightning in the bottle every fucking single time. Now it's gonna be worth. I don't know, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hit because that fight was huge. That fight was how many pay-per-views? Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta
About a
Davis.
million, 1.2, right? About
Yeah,
1.2.
but they're trying to do that shit. They're hoping for maybe if you match Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero against that, maybe that's gonna give us the big bang. That's what these executives are expecting. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if that shit that I'm trying to do is gonna be successful.
Yeah, well, the problem is that the success to loss ratio, if you're using Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis as an example, is all the more reason for you to abandon that practice because it seems like that only really worked for you once. The rest of the time, what's going on? Are you making loads of cash? No. You're burning through loads of cash, protecting fighters, making safe fights, and fights that people don't really react to. Whereas before, promoters understood you got a guy, I got a guy, people seem to like them. That's the fight the people want. That's the fight we got to make because that's the only one that's going to make us any money. But a lot of a lot of what changed is the networks giving exclusivity deals because suddenly promoters become lax. Like, well, if I'm going to get this budget next year, irrespective of that fight, then I guess we don't need that fight. We don't need to make it. We're going to get this budget next year. So who cares? That's a part of the reason why promoters are more laxed, less inclined to make major fights, with the exception of Eddie Hearn, because he still seems to want to. He still seems to understand his job. But it's like everybody else in the country, everybody else in America, they're on this kind of kick. And no, the reason boxing is in the dumpster in America is because you're protecting shitty fighters to save them for other shitty fighters. And it wouldn't be so bad if people were actually buying the fights, but they're not. They're not. I'm not buying that shit.
We're overcomplicating these rules. They're fucking cowards. Let's just put it that way. They're fucking cowards who are afraid to lose.
Pretty much.
You mentioned Eddie, but I think there's also an exception there in England, and that's Ben Shalom. Like that's a guy that the network say, yo, if you don't give us what we want, we're gonna let you go. And they did just that.
Photos after you drop the link.
What? I mean, he just took the screen off, brother. That means he went to go take a smoke or a shit.
Yeah. No, but in the case of her, that's the kind of guy that look, in 20 years he wants to retire and tell to everyone that look, I made fucking music versus I don't know, versus Fury. He made the big fights. That's what he takes pride in the kind of events that he promotes. He takes pride that he promotes Canelo and Anthony Joshua and using all those guys. But Oscar De La Hoya, that guy, the two more important things for Oscar De La Hoya is his ego and his ego. So that motherfucker doesn't care about making the big fights.
No.
To say that he just wants to just go and shit in other people. That's it.
I mean, look how he handled the.
Yeah, the state of the game in America is straight garbage because, like Jules said, these dudes are protecting limited, untalented, non-selling fighters in order to have shitty fights be made between one crappy fighter versus another crappy fighter, like Rolly versus fucking Ryan or Ryan versus Mario. Like, nobody gives a fuck about those fights. We need to go back to the era where guys like Trinidad, De La Hoya, fucking Ike Corte, those type of dudes were fucking out there fighting each other instead of this shit where like it's all these guys with built up records and phony ass fucking boxing ledgers that like they're not real fighters. They've just been built up and protected the whole time.
Well, no, look into Leo's point about Oscar. Look how he handled the Zepeda-Stevenson situation. Oh, we don't need to fight Stevenson. We're the mandatory / number one contender or whatever in every major sanctioning body. We can do what we want. Yeah, but no one wants to see him fight anyone but Shakur Stevenson. We can do what we want. Like, oh my god, you fucking coward! Like it took
a massive payday for him to agree to it.
To find his fucking balls. Like, god damn. And then you saw why. Like, as for all Zepeda forcing him to fight and having moments, Shakur cooked him. And he knew it. It's like that's probably the worst part for me. Is that if these motherfuckers actually believed, if he actually believed Ryan Garcia or Rolly Romero or Mario Barrios or whoever were actually like, oh no, they're the dude, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Like, if they actually believed it, okay, even if they were wrong, I could understand. Even if I yell and scream and tell them what a stupid motherfucker they are for believing that, at least you're not full of shit. At least you know you're not wasting my time. They know. They fucking know these guys suck.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I think boxing hasn't really recuperated from that Pacquiao versus Mayweather fight.
You think?
No, but I think boxing as an industry never recuperated from that fight because that changed the game. Now promoters are thinking, dude, if we do this shit right, those motherfuckers are gonna have that fight 10 years after, and they're gonna buy it anyways. That's what they were thinking. For example, that David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, they were trying to say, no, we are gonna marinate this fight. Dude, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather was catching lightning in the bottle. Most of those situations are catching lightning in the bottle, but every time they want to replicate that same shit.
But Leo, it was that situation between Manny and Floyd that wasn't catching lightning in a bottle because unfortunately one of the fighters was dictating who he would fight and when he would fight them. Unfortunately, he had way too much power to say yes or no. And when that fight should have happened, it didn't happen because he literally went out of his way to say, oh, well, if this dude doesn't do X, Y, and Z, I'm not fighting him. And that's why shit didn't happen.
No, but you're missing the point. The point is that fight, the moment it happened, even if it was too late, it made massive amounts of money.
But the thing is, the reason that fight made massive amounts of money is because those guys fought for years and built up their fan bases. And so then it became a question of to see who is the better fighter of the two. The problem is these guys nowadays don't fight anywhere near as often as those guys were fighting. So we're never going to see guys legitimately be built up from the ground up and create a fan base, at least here in America, because it seems like all these fucking promoters want to do is give all these dudes a bunch of cans, pad that record, and then eventually put them in once they feel like they're going to cash out with said fighter.
I mean, other than Inoue, who's fighting that often every year?
Nobody, Jason. Nobody. Literally, I don't even think we could name a handful of guys who fight 3 times a year right now in this era. Nobody is fighting. Who?
Abdullah Mason. That's about it. in America.
Yeah, and he's a prospect. And usually prospects are supposed to fight more often. But now that he has the belt virtuoso, we'll see how often he fights now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a once a year fighter now.
Yeah, maybe twice if we're lucky. And that's the problem with the promoters here in the US. They don't want to fucking pay these dudes to fight more than twice a year max. Because you promise them the sun, the moon, and the stars in order to get them in the ring. And it's like, well, if I'm getting paid, $2, $3, $4 million every time I fight, why do I need to fight 3 or 4 times a year? I can fight twice a year and be good.
Look, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's, look, if I'm going to pay you $3 million, I'm not going to have you fighting 3 times a year. I don't have that kind of money, so you're going to have to chill for a while. Like,
Yeah.
you can have 3 million, but we're not going to fight. You're not going to fight 3 times a year because I don't have 3 opponents. Maybe next year I can have, because look, in the case of Inoue, when people talk about Picasso and these other guys he was fighting, dude, I understand he could fight another people, but if you're gonna fight 3 or 4 times a year, not every fucking opponent is gonna be top notch, and you're gonna have to pay him. So it makes sense.
Well,
for most of the guys that don't fight that often.
yeah.
Getting that money.
The thing is, Leo, like this is the most recent example of when a guy who was a legitimate superstar was fighting more than 3 times a year. The year that Oscar defended his belt 5 times back in the day, he literally fought, I want to say 4 of the 5 guys he fought were legitimate contenders. He only fought 1 guy out of those 5 that you could say was a can. The other 4 were legitimate guys he fought in that year where he fought 5 times. And the reason he was able to fight 5 times was because his promoter was able to convince him, okay, look, we're going to give you all of these guys, but we need you to know that every step along the way, as long as you keep winning, we can pay you more when we finally do get you to pay-per-view. And Oscar and his team were smart enough to understand that. They were smart enough to say, okay, let's go out and beat these guys. Let's have people watch us beat these guys. And then when we finally do get to the big super fight with Tito Trinidad, I'm going to make a fuck ton of money when I fight that guy. And he did. But the problem is that these guys don't want to actually participate in the process. All they want to do is hold the promoters and the networks hostage to their demands, saying, oh, well, I'm not fighting unless my minimum is $2 million or $3 million, like fucking Shakur was with Top Rank, which is crazy because it's like you have no real incentive as a promoter to promote a guy if you have to pay him that fucking much just to get him in the ring, especially when he's not selling.
Okay, but look, you're taking as an example, Oscar De La Hoya was huge, even before he became a fucking pro. So, dude, if you have a promoter and you have a guy like Oscar De La Hoya, look, you're gonna try to make him grow as a boxer, as a professional. But you actually know you're talking about it was a process that process worked for Oscar. You cannot replicate that shit with Taylor Crawford. You cannot replicate that shit with Yusuf. You cannot replicate that shit with all these other guys. Maybe Canelo is another exception. But
Leo, what do you mean you couldn't do that with Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford literally was fighting on off-TV undercards when Top Rank fucking signed him back in the day. He was not a guy who they came out and promoted as like this big-ass signing, like a big star when they got him. I remember that dude because one of my friends who was a pro fighter fought him on an off-TV undercard back in 2010 when Terrence Crawford was 7-0 with 6 knockouts. He fought him, and nobody knew who the fuck Terrence Crawford was in 2010. Everybody who saw him fight that night was like, whoa, This guy's got the talent to be a star, but Top Rank wasn't out there fucking selling him like he was a star from day one. They built him into a star.
Yeah, like Crawford is a guy, you look at him and his development was more or less organic, not preordained. Whereas now a lot of it is preordained. You could tell they want a guy to be the guy, and they match him accordingly because they want him to be a guy. He's a guy they have a lot riding on. Where things work better before when, you know what, you just got to let shit happen. Let the chips fall where they may. But some of this shit, you just got to let it happen. Everything feels rehearsed now.
Again, I think you're missing the point with the comparison that I tried to make with Terence Crawford or Oscar De La Hoya. If you have a guy promoting Oscar De La Hoya and you're telling him, if you fight more often, you're going to get more money, you're telling that shit because everyone is making more money, including the promoter, because Oscar was huge. In the case of Terence Crawford, yeah, you can say him that you're going to have $3 or $4 million, but you're going to lose money, and Bob knew that shit. And he still did it. But I cannot ask him every fucking promoter to do the same shit. I cannot ask him to. I understand that you need to try to incentivize your boxer to fight more often, to try to be bigger. But if you have to overpay, you're gonna end up losing money.
Yeah.
The guys of Terence Crawford is the more free. Bob Arum saying himself, "I lose money by this motherfucker," and he's great. But I cannot promote it. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, but with Crawford, he didn't lose money because he couldn't promote him. He lost money because the dichotomy of everything changed. Exclusivity deals. Remember what I mentioned earlier, that promoters are a lot more lax when they know that Fox is going to give us X annually. Showtime is going to give us X annually. So we don't need to deal with that guy's fighter who fights over there. We don't need to make that fight because we're going to get X annually anyway, and we got our own guys that we can make the fights with. That's what really hurt Crawford. Like the thing about Crawford not being a fighter that you can promote, that was always bullshit. No. If Crawford, after he beats Jose Benavidez, which did great numbers that year on TV, it did great numbers, great ratings. If he goes right into a Thurman fight right after that, theoretically, that fight would have did numbers in 2018. 2019, yeah, that fight would have did numbers.
The case of Terence Crawford is even more fucked up because even if when he moved up to super lightweight, he was doing everything right. The motherfucker became undisputed. Like even doing that shit, even doing great numbers, I cannot tell you that it was worth $3 or $4 million as it was being paid. Maybe it was being built up for something else.
No. Let me say this. Bob didn't fuck up on Crawford. The industry fucked up on Crawford. No, Bob didn't fuck up. ESPN didn't fuck up. It's that the fights that he needed, it's not even a complicated situation to evaluate. Those guys didn't want to fight him. That's really it. They just didn't want to fight him.
It just goes back to what I said earlier, Jules. Cowards. They're all fucking cowards. The promoters and the fighters. And the worst thing, Jules, I said this when you were gone. The worst fucking thing is that the promoters know these guys suck. If Oscar De La Hoya honestly thought Ryan Garcia or Rolly Romero or whoever was like, oh no, they're good, man. They're going to be the stars of the future. I'd still think he's a fucking idiot. I may rant and rave and scream, but I could at least understand it. Like, oh, he sees this big pile of shit and thinks it's chocolate. No, they know it's a big pile of shit, and they're still trying to sell me that it's chocolate.
Yeah. If the goal were jointly from PBC and Top Rank from the get-go, from the moment that Crawford versus Spence becomes the conversation, and they get their heads together and say, look, we don't want to do this now. We want to build this. We want that when we do this, it's really, really big. How do we get to that point? We want this to be Felix Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya big. We want it to be as big as it can be. Okay, we're going to feed your guy, Crawford, some of our guys. If he beats those guys, we're in the right direction. If he loses, it still favors us because, well, then it's our guy that beat him. So then we can do the fight between Spence and our guy that just beat Crawford amongst ourselves. That's not what happened at all. They had no intention of making that fight. That was never their aim. Their aim was to just keep everything to themselves, keep everything in a bubble, and whatever happens to Crawford, that is not our problem. And boxing cannot sustain like that. Like, no, a house divided cannot stand. It's all boxing at the end of the day. The promoters don't see it that way because, well, they're selfish. And the managers. But the same rings true. A house divided can't stand because it's the same audience, regardless of who the promoter is. It's the same fucking audience. And that audience wants this. That's what they want. You're either working towards giving them that or you're not. And what we see in the United States more often than not is no, they're not working towards giving you what you ask for. They're not. They're trying to find a way around it so they can keep making money doing something else. That's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, look, looking back, maybe one of the reasons that the BBC is practically going under, it was because of Errol Spence. Not because of the Crawford fight, it's because of his car accident. Because you fucked up everything for them. Because, look, the plan wasn't Terrence Crawford. It never was. But the plan was Errol Spence against the guys at the super welterweight, maybe Jamal, trying to build up, maybe a Canelo fight in the future. They were going to talk to Terrence Crawford. And if you were to make, at that time, those fights, I wouldn't even be that mad. I would be mad for Terrence Crawford not having that fight, but you fucked everything up because not only you delegitimize your wins against your loss against Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford never got really the credit for beating Errol Spence because of the car accident. That was one of the things. But after that ass beating, Errol Spence now is useless. And I cannot say, dude, that was just Terrence Spence. You had a fucking car, you got ejected from your fucking car into the space. So yeah, you're done. And the PBC invested a lot on you. It tried to make a lot of happen for you because they thought that not only you were in good grace with the media, you were legit. I'm not saying that you were the best of the best, but you're better than Gervonta Davis. You were better than George Wilder. You were better than all this for the PBC motherfuckers that they were pushing. You were better, but you fucked up your career for being a fucking drunk.
The problem is, Leo, I'll say this about Spence. This is just my opinion. Where they should have really promoted him as the guy if he had been able to get Keith Thurman after he beat Kell Brook. That's where he would have really taken off. Because then at that point, he would have made the case that he was the best fighter on that side of the street.
The sort of beating a dead horse. But the PBC don't think like boxing guys. Bob has said any number of horrible things about Eddie Hearn, right? But that doesn't stop Eddie Hearn from doing a fight with a Bob Arum fighter. You didn't take it personal. Yeah, you said my dick's small. Some shit like that. Like that's how the PBC is. They act like a pouty child. You didn't want to do fights with Top Rank. You don't want to do fights with Matchroom. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And it's like, yeah, you can't sustain. But if you approached it from a business perspective, look, man, this Spence versus Crawford fight, this is something that this audience is really keen on. They really like this fight. So let's get our heads together. Let's put a time frame on this so where we can deliver it, and let's build it because we can both make money from it. If you promote Errol on your end and promote Crawford on our end, and we do one or two fights amongst ourselves, each other, right? We do one or two fights to build this thing and turn it into a fucking behemoth, right? We make a lot of money to where it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. We make a lot of money, but they don't do things that way. You know, you see, when Eddie first debuted in America, everybody was having a go at him, but that didn't stop him from making fights with Oscar's fighters, with Bob's fighters, with a PBC fighter if he could, right? That's how you're supposed to be. The PBC was not that way, you know? It was never their aim to do Crawford and Spence at all. Non-negotiable. You know,
the pettiness goes straight to their own fighters. Look what happened with Fulton. Like, he puts his foot down and says, I want to fight anyway. What happens to him next? He gets basically blackballed by the BBC. It took how many years for another fight? How many times has this O'Shaquie Foster fight been swept under the rug from him? I mean, no wonder he missed weight. Man's probably sick of this shit. Speaking of, look what happened with Lamont Roach when he beats Tank. Oh, no, you get a draw. And now you fight the Pitbull, and you get a draw there too.
Another draw, and I think he was lucky to get that, because if they wanted to rob him the way that they are, it just wouldn't have surprised me.
Okay, but I think at some point the promoters know, and the promoters believe in themselves. No, they don't, because look, when Eddie Hearn goes against Queensberry and Fish, Eddie Hearn has confidence. Like, dude, I am one of the best promoters in the world. I have a roster, a stable, one of the best fighters in the world. And Frank Warren thinks the same shit. I think Al Heyman knows that these guys are all right, but they're not compared with top rank fights. Even a guy like Oscar De La Hoya knows that. Dude, this guy Ryan Garcia is kind of okay, but he's not one of the best. I think Oscar De La Hoya knew that fucking Cepeda wasn't going to beat Shakur Stevenson. That they know, that especially Oscar De La Hoya, that he was a boxer before. So when you don't have the confidence of your saber, your product, you're not gonna make those fights.
Yeah, but you can't do business that way, though. You can't see. If I got a stable of shitty fighters, this is me, Joe Blow, the boxing fan, not even the boxing guy. I got a stable of shitty fighters, and I probably got one good one. If I know. Bud beats 95% of my stable. He probably beats 100% of my stable, except for this Spence guy that I got. That fight is a fight that if we build it together, we can both make a lot of fucking money, right? That's how you got to think, because that is the way that boxing was. Like, we got to do the fight. This is the one that people want. This is the one that makes money. So, you know, Bud beats Danny. Bud beats Thurman. He beats Sean. Let Bud have them. Let Errol beat Sean. Let Bud beat Danny. Do the Thurman versus Spence. Who doing all that? Do the Thurman versus Spence. You got to build it. And where they fucked up at is it was never your intention to do any of that. So you just painted yourself into a corner with a shitty stable of guys that are now useless. What the fuck are you going to do with Keith Thurman now? What? Danny's might be retired, he might not be, but who cares? Spence is still dangling that carrot to anybody who's still out there waiting for him to come back. Well, you see, I might come back with my family. And okay, hey, that's great.
Do you see his hair?
It's fucking awesome, bro. I'm happy for you. Okay.
You sound like Adam Sandler and Waterboy when you do that.
Oh, Bobby Boucher ass motherfucker.
you can if you're smart, and smart is not the word. If you're a real salesman, you can sell a shitty product. If you're a salesman, Bud beats Danny. Okay, so let's give him Danny. Let's give him Danny and build the Spence fight. And let Bud be the first one to stop Danny Garcia. Let's do it. You know, let's make that happen. And then Spence, obviously, we're going to keep building you because you were our golden goose at that time. You do things that way, you don't come out that bad because you will still have been a party to building a major fight. The way that Spence and Crawford actually happened, it was nowhere near as big as it could have been. It could have been much bigger than that. But it's just how they do things over there. They do things in a stupid, backwards, non-business way, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest indictment on PBC, Jules, is that let's go back to when they first came out. They literally signed 200 plus fucking guys. And the majority of those guys were not guys that they had developed on Golden Boy's dime. They were dudes from other promoters who were basically free agents that they enticed to come over because they tried to basically be a self-sustaining organization where they were like, we're not going to fight anybody outside of our own little world. We're just going to keep it in house the whole time. The problem is that PBC never had any legitimate matchmakers that knew what the fuck they were doing. That's why they never developed their own stars organically like other promoters had. And that's why you got guys that were trash.
Boxing people. For them to think that they were going to monopolize the sport of boxing with a stable of 200 or 250 fighters was you were always doomed to fail. Like, you were always doomed to fail. Always. Like, that was never going to work. You were never going to take over boxing because you funneled over 200 fighters from Golden Boy because, well, okay, does that mean Golden Boy was running boxing before that? No. So how the fuck are you now running boxing by taking the fighters that they had? And as it turns out, Canelo still turned out to be a bigger draw than everybody you stole from over there. Not a single fighter that you took on after that went on to be a draw like he's a draw because, well, this was never going to work. Can't take over boxing. What you can do is make it your aim to put together successful events. That's why Anthony Joshua could lose. Matchroom's still all right. He's still good. Fucking Conor Ben could lose. Matchroom's still good. Still got shit going on. You can't have it to where the fighter's supposed to be perfect for you to be successful because there is no perfect fighter. That don't exist. There's some fighters that are closer than others, but generally that doesn't exist. Your aim it should always be, as a promoter, not, oh yeah, my guy's going to win the fight. That's a very toddlerish way to look at what your job is. Your job is to sell events. That's your job. Events. You know, fucking country's going to eat 5 hot dogs this Saturday at the fucking Terra Dome. See it live. You know what I'm saying? That's your fucking job.
Don't forget the mustard.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fucking Leo's gonna eat 15 tacos in one sitting on Sunday. Sunday.
With El Tapatio.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh no. Here comes Jules. He's got the tacos.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is to be a promoter, to sell the event. Win or lose, yeah, winning is gonna happen, losing is gonna happen, and obviously your fighter winning is better than your fighter losing. But at the end of the day, when you're counting the gate receipts and the pay-per-views you sold, and if you did sell, that's what really keeps the doors open. That's what keeps the lights on. Did people go to the event? You know, you got Dave Allen. They're getting Dave Allen another fucking fight. Fuck. Why? Because he sells.
Because people want to watch him fight.
Yeah.
Simple. It's a simple concept.
Bro, do you think if Inoue loses to Junto, Ohashi is going to shed any tears other than the ones into his piles and piles of money he'll earn that night?
Exactly. Let me go wrap myself in my money blanket and cry myself to sleep. Like, no, Doc, the show goes on. And I just, you just kind of figure that the people that are in the industry should already have this understanding. Because you as a boxing fan have that understanding. You may have a fighter right now who you really like watching, but if he loses, you're not going to throw this whole sport away. You know, Gennady Golovkin retired. A lot of people really liked that guy. He was fun to watch. But when he retired, yeah, people kept watching boxing. You know, they like, yeah, I mean, like, he's one guy. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, the cycle keeps going. Like, just because one guy leaves doesn't mean the sport stops.
For real. You know, and I've said this on more than one live that I guess where the PBC fucked up at, where you won't see that happen at Top Rank. They wanted brands more than boxers. They wanted franchises more than pugilists. Like, well, they can't all be stars, Al. They can't all be stars. You got to make an omelet, you got to crack a couple of eggs. To make a real star on your side, these guys got to lose. That you never made the Thurman fight? Well, that was a hot cock in the ass. Spence versus Thurman, you could, like, bro, that's all you right there. 2018, that was a hot fight. 2017, 2018, you didn't make it. Well, you did make Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Lugas. Lugas didn't have eyebrows when he fought Spence. That didn't help. This is the stupid shit, because you actually had a big fight, didn't require you to deal with anybody. Spence versus Thurman was a legitimately big fight for that window of 2 to 3 years, 2016, 17, and 18. It was a huge fight you could have made. You didn't make it. Fucking morons over there.
When you were saying those names, I could just picture the Monty Python Holy Grail animated guys just waving their flags, going, "Yay!
Yay! Bay!
Sean Porter, yay!
Pon Shorter, yay! Benny Bertha." You know what I'm saying? You keep making stupid shit. They make stupid decisions because they don't make decisions from the perspective of somebody who's promoting for the long term. That, you know, in the long term, the long term, no matter how good the fighter is now, no matter how good he was when you signed them, and no matter how popular he gets, there is a high probability that he is going to lose. So you have to make as much money as possible from that loss, because you should look at it as it's going to happen. You know, AJ, fucking monster, right? 2017, he beats Klitschko. Who would have thought the fat man would have been the one that got him? But, like, yeah, like, you got to make as much money as possible, because he could look like whatever right now. Right now is not forever. And the average boxer is not leaving this sport with their record unblemished. Like, yeah, not the average boxer. So what do you tell yourself? That they're above average? Oh, they're all above average. You shouldn't look at it that way. They're good, and there are other good fighters out there too. And boxing is a spontaneous bitch on her period. Yeah. So you got to try to make as much money as possible from the losses. You got to try to make as many of the big fights as possible to make as much money as possible. You shouldn't look at it any other way. That's the beast. That's the monster. But that's how you survive. That's how Bob could have promoted anyone from fucking Hagler to Manny to Bud. He could have fighters leave him, like Teofimo, like Bud Crawford, like Stevenson, and keep going. Why? Because it can't all be riding on a couple of fighters. It can't. That's not the way to look at things. And the reason you guys are worse for wear right now is because you actually did have it riding on these fighters. You had a lot riding on Wilder. You had a lot riding on Spence. You still have a lot riding on Gervonta. And, I mean...
He's catching more cases than he is fighting in the ring.
Real, yo.
Court cases or beer cases. Sense. But, no... Have you seen his latest little girl rant where he's like, you know, the reason the fight got canceled is because Jake Paul kept getting beat up and sparring. He's afraid of him. Like, bro, he's hanging to fight Anthony Joshua. You think he's scared of you?
Yeah, I saw that fucking shit. Well, yeah, I'm sure he was so terrified of the 5'5" manlet that he decided to fight a 6'6", 82-inch wingspan heavyweight instead. That makes a lot of sense, Javante. In Baltimore.
Yeah, he was so scared of you, he fought a bigger asshole.
like you, I gotta stop asking. What is he retarded? I gotta just admit, no, he's retarded. Like he is legit down with the syndrome. He is retarded. You know. He's talking about fighting Isaac now next year. Whoop de fucking do.
Literally
How many years
5
has it
years. 5 years after no one was asking for it anymore.
Oh, like we didn't see that coming.
Imagine my surprise.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's fuck.
Shout out to Jake Paul though, like overcompensating for the why are you fighting a dude half your size to you ouchies.
Got her.
His fucking knees hurt from chasing chicks around in the parking lot. That's why.
For real, dragging bitches down the steps. Virtuoso said Jason East flunkies were more like disciples in the movie The Life of Brian. I'm Floyd Mayweather. No, I'm Floyd
Mayweather.
Fucking ridiculous, man. You know,
Floyd.
The economy of the market, the economy of the market is going to make them have to snap out of that shit that no, you're not Floyd, he's not Floyd, none of you are Floyd, and none of you are going to be, and you're going to have to make money some other kind of way. You're going to have to fight people because that is where the economy is right now. Like, yeah, you get money with the Turk, but you're going to have to fight somebody. You know, like what we saw with Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. Abdullah had to earn that check. That wasn't easy. You had to earn that check, you know, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
God, why did Brian Norman have to
be a hell of a fight, though, man?
Why do you have to suck? Because him talking that shit to Devin Haney, that was perfect.
It would have been beautiful for all of us if Devin would have lost, but he won. You know, he won, and we got to deal with that shit now, man. I think it's terrible because I don't want to see Devin fight anyone. And that's me admitting that, you know what? He's better than I gave him credit for. He is really good at what he does. He is. It worked. But I don't want to watch that shit. I don't want to see you fight nobody, bro. At all. I have no excitement in me over a Devin Haney fight. The fuck am I going to get excited about? Jab. Oh, shit, look at that jab.
Another
jab. Hold.
Oh, there's the jab.
Oh, he knocked him down. Maybe something will happen.
Ignacio, did you see that jab?
Yeah. Funny thing is, Jules, we're trashing Devin Haney for literally doing that, but we just saw a guy do that this past weekend and fucking fight beautifully in Oshaki Foster.
Yeah, but it was different because Oshaki shows initiative. Like look, with Devin, it's just the same thing. He's gonna hang back. He's gonna hang back. He's gonna look at you. He's gonna look at you. Oshaki, he stepped into the jab at times, put the backhand behind the jab at times, stepped back, showed the jab, showed different variations of the jab. That, yeah, he's winning with his lead hand mostly, but he's using it a lot. And it's enough that, yeah, it is interesting. You know, it is, okay, this is a great display of boxing from this guy. With Devin, you got no work rate. You know, I still don't think you have any power. I don't give a fuck, dog. You ain't got, if you got power, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because not a lot happens in your fights, you know? That shit was awful, dog. I mean, there's not a single fight in the welterweight division, and they're talking about that Garcia rematch. Like, bro, I don't fucking care at all about that.
Garcia Haney too. Will he be on roids this time?
No, Garcia Haney too. Who cares? Not me. You know, like, I don't care about Devin's revenge. I don't care about Ryan winning a belt. Look at who we fighting for one. Mario Barrios.
This is a sad fucking state of affairs in boxing that there is a legitimate possibility that rematch is for 2 belts on the line. Unfucking believable.
That shit could be. There could be a UFC belt on the line in that fight. I wouldn't fucking care.
Or notice. Jules, if a tree falls in the forest, does Ryan's dick end up in Devin Haney's ass? The answer
Probably.
Fuck. Like
probably. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to motherfucking Luis Mikel. He has no power. Fight goes the distance. I'm saying like that's where the welterweight division is at. Like it's just, bro, y'all really trying to I guess force feed us excitement, for lack of a better word. But I don't care about Devin's revenge. Yeah, maybe somebody out there does, but it's not me. I don't think his country. I don't think it's Ignacio. Like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about his revenge.
Bro, Devin Haney's baby mama doesn't care about his revenge.
All I know is the funniest shit ever, Jules, would be if Big Rolo somehow managed to clean up the division and become undisputed.
Oh, I totally root for
that division is so.
That shit would be fucking hilarious.
I would love every minute of that shit, man.
No, and he's about to fight this fucking old man. I'm tired of Manny getting the token. Oh, but he's a legend. Oh, okay, yeah, he's a fucking legend. He came back to fight fucking bums, bro. Okay, so that's what he came back for to fight the bums. When you see that,
they have belts. You can't call them bums. They're champions.
When you see Barrios got a belt and fucking Rolly got a belt, yeah, you come back too. Shit. Mark Breland might come back like
he's like, I could beat all these cans.
You know what I'm saying? Shit, Oscar might come back like, I'll see if I can make 147, win a belt for Big Rolo.
It's the PBC move for Manny all over again. That's why he went there in the first place. Oh, Sean Porter, Ugas, Spence. I can take these guys. And now he's an old man. Like, Rolly Romero? Like Mario Barrios? You got literal retards here with belts?
But if it's Boots and it's a bunch of killers with belts, man, Manny tries to run for another Senate seat. That motherfucker. If it was full of killers, Manny wouldn't be here right now. So,
nope.
Spare me the bullshit about legacy and it's the legacy, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. That dude is here back to fight bums because that's what they are. They're bums.
It'd be funny if he actually admitted it though, like on an interview. So why are you back, Manny? Because everyone sucks.
I came back to fight bums. I came back to fight bums. That is Jinky. I fight. I bums.
Because
bums. The money. Like bums. Fuck Jinky.
Because I fuck Jinky and I pipe bums. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Fucking
Jinky can still get it, by the way. She is a hot piece of ass.
She's fucking hot. But does anybody actually care about the oldest welterweight champion? Like, oh, that changes everything. He's the oldest welterweight. Well, let me try not to fall out of this chair from all the excitement of the oldest.
Bro,
I don't care.
I mean, when we had the oldest light heavyweight champion in Bernard Hopkins, people were making a big fucking deal about that.
Yeah, I guess, but like this is a thing that's been plaguing all sports recently. These fucking fake statistics to make fake heroes because they can't measure up to people who actually did shit.
Yeah, like if Manny were out there looking sharp and dangerous, then no, his age really wouldn't really matter. If he were still competing at a level close to where he used to. But we know that he's not because you just went the distance with Mario Barrios. He would have
destroyed him 10 years ago.
Bro, he would have fucking turned that dude into a fucking ground chuck.
Yeah.
So I mean, like really? Oh yeah, and you're hearing the announcers again. Oh man, he's still got it. No, he does not.
No, he doesn't. Mario's just that bad. No, but like I say, it's all these fake statistics. The quarterback just threw for 80 passes without interception. They were all for 3 yards.
Shit like that. Could you imagine what Antonio Margarito would have did to fucking Mario? Like, bro.
Oh my God. He'd be in fucking prison if he put his hands on him.
They would have had him in cuffs at the end of the fucking fight, dog.
And he wouldn't even need any plaster either.
Just anybody from that era of welterweights versus Mario Barrios. It's a homo case, bro. It's a fucking
Yep.
homicide case, bro.
Hey, speaking of Antonio Margarito, Jules, what'd you think about him warning Canelo not to fight Crawford and that it was a trap?
I mean, he probably just really likes Canelo and what he means for Mexican boxing. Is it a trap? Oh, that depends on what you call a trap. I didn't see. You lost the fight fair and square, Canelo. You know, nobody did. I don't think you got done dirty. I don't think you were hard done on the cards. They actually had it closer than I did.
Well, Margarito seems to think that Canelo will lose worse, like we do. That he'll lose worse the second time around.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
I mean, it's possible, country. I mean, he's getting older, and you could already see in the first fight he was starting to lose a step.
Yeah. It's what I saw in the fight. While he was always a step behind, he didn't look slow. Crawford looked faster than him. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I just think
slow. He's still fast enough to catch guys. I still think he beats certain guys at 168, right? You know, Canelo still can beat guys at 168. Same doing the same shit. But Crawford was just better that night. Yeah, he was better.
Yeah.
Like, what can we say?
I just think, country, he doesn't want him to go out like other legends of the sport have gone out sad. Like, for example, like Chavez Sr. Chavez Sr., everybody remembers how great he was. But a lot of people don't talk about that last fight he ever had. He retired on his fucking stool against a bum named Willie Wise.
Yeah, that was a hard one to see, man.
Yeah, so I think that's what Margarito's talking about.
Bro, you can't be calling something a trap. That's that obvious. Like, this ain't Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
I've always been a huge Chavez fan, man, and that was tough to watch.
Virtuoso said, besides Devin and anorexic Buddy McGirt can become undisputed at welterweight right now. The shit is ass cheeks, bro. With Canelo and Crawford, I'm like, look, man, you know, if Crawford's willing to do it and Canelo's willing to do it, then I suppose we would all watch it. But from a boxing fan perspective, do I want the rematch? Not really. I could live without it. First fight was a conclusive enough victory that I don't feel there's any food left on the plate. I don't. It's just Canelo has enough juice that if he wants a rematch, it might happen because he's Canelo Alvarez. He's still a fucking business, you know, but I don't really want the rematch. Like, no, not really.
I want to see fresh matchups like the one this weekend with Pacheco and Sajo. That's what I want.
Or Shiraz and Mobili. I like that that's for a title. Like, I like that. That's a good fight.
That's what we need, movement in the division.
No, Canelo's only shot is if Crawford realizes overnight he's 40. Like, oh shit, I'm 40. Body collapses. That's his only chance.
Yeah, you know, like that. There's just like it's a rematch for the sake of, and it's like, well, that's not a good enough reason to do it. You know, like I'm not intrigued by a second fight. I was intrigued by the first one. It was a great display of boxing from Terrence Crawford, no doubt about it. He did really well, you know, and I think to me, the matter is settled. Like I don't know what the fuck there else is to revisit. Like what, you know? I'm ready for those guys at 168 to beat the shit out of each other. You know, that's what I want. So,
yep, that's what I want to see. It's time to move. I mean, as great as Canelo has been for the sport, it's time to move on. Like he's getting to that point where he ain't gonna be around much longer. It's time to inject the new blood into the game and see what happens.
Yeah, and let those guys fight for those fucking belts.
Yeah,
man. Let them fucking start having unification matches and all that shit because it's getting stale, you know.
No, Canelo probably needs to retire. Oh, hang on. Let me say it like Michael. Canelo needs to retire.
Yeah, you know, you got to throw a little. You got to throw a little sass in that shit. Yeah, a little sass.
Do you mean not the Devin Haney sass?
Did you see how? Did you see how he got excited? Were you here when we were watching Haney and Norman and he tried that fucking bullshit? Yeah, that's why they
He
paid.
jumped off before he could get kicked off.
No, they paid. Yeah, they paid me. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is some fucking bullshit. He's right there with everybody else picking Brian Norman to win. Yo, big dick, yo, you big dick, yo. Fucking.
But I'll give you credit, Jules. You called the Connor Ben one. We all picked Eubank, and you went, nah, I'm gonna go with Ben. And what fucking happened? Connor Ben won.
Yeah, man, fucking Connor, man. Shout out to motherfucking Mick Doonan. Manny is a great champ. Never cleared out, and that's true. He never cleared out any of the 8 divisions. Didn't seek out champions to unify. He had 8 title defenses, and you couldn't name 4 of them. I mean, yeah, like Manny. That's another not so well known statistic. Manny didn't unify shit, bro. He didn't unify shit.
He didn't. but
No,
also-
like his runs at 20, 26, 30, and 35 were his best days. Everything after that was just a money grab and a belt grab.
Yeah, it's just that he has such a long spanning career, and there are so many great names in there. Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera. He beat up Ricky Hatton. He gets style points. He gets style points for De La Hoya because he really fucked up De La Hoya. Even though De La Hoya was half dead, he's fucked up already.
Yeah, like
now that's De La Hoya. De La Hoya's the fault there because he's the one who said, "I'll fuck you up, Manny," and he called him up.
I completely get it, but hindsight is 20/20. You saw what Oscar looked like in there, bro.
Oscar looked like dried out dog shit at the weigh-in that night. He did. It was awful.
You know what I'm saying? And style, like one of my favorite performances from Manny is the Margarito fight. Like I love that fight from Manny, right?
Well,
But what did Margarito weigh that night? At the weigh-in? What was it? 148, 149?
No, Jules, that fight was catch weight at 50, and I think if I remember correctly, he came in right at 50. But when he rehydrated, he looked like he was 170 at least.
Yeah, he was fucking huge. He was huge.
I got to admit, that night that Oscar fought Manny, when he got fucked up, I was like, even though I like Oscar, I was like, yeah, that's what you get. That's for Chavez Senior, bitch. I was all fucking so mad about that shit, man.
Well, but Manny, I guess what compensates for Manny never unifying titles and obviously never becoming undisputed is that he did fight a lot of singular good names. And he did. He did. He beat the fuck out of Cotto, beat the fuck out of Margarito. So that kind of softens the blow. But yeah, man, he didn't unify shit, man. He didn't unify shit.
Yeah, he never won more than a couple of titles in any of the divisions he was in.
I mean, to be fair, again, to be a little fair to him, was unifying really seen as that big a thing back then?
No,
back
it wasn't.
Then it was jumping divisions was the big thing.
Because I remember when Zab was undisputed, nobody cared. Like, nobody.
I mean, come on, Jules. Remember when Zab was undisputed? Who was he fighting? Corey Spinks. That's how lowly that shit was.
Ooh, what a plus.
You know what I'm saying?
That's 2-weight world champion Corey Spinks.
Just asking fighters to shoot for undisputed and go on an undisputed run is more of a postmodern thing. It's not that fighters didn't go for undisputed before, they did, but people didn't sit around talking about belts anywhere near as much or at all, really, back then. Like, motherfuckers didn't really talk about undisputed. Jermaine Taylor was undisputed in the 3-belt era, wasn't he? He was undisputed.
Yeah, he was undisputed when he beat Hopkins.
So, you could forgive that Manny didn't do that. Did fight a lot of good fighters, but yeah, he didn't unify shit. He didn't unify shit. So on that note, I'm gonna fucking go to sleep. Fucking still getting over bronchitis. I see y'all motherfuckers on the next one.
Night, Joe.
Peace.
Not Joe.